Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Racin with Ryan podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Stevens, and joining me today, live in studio, the man behind the camera, Mr. Tom Stout from Speedway Video. How you doing, man? That's good sound effects.
I am ready to hang out. Before we hit record, we got our Royal Rumble talk out of the way.
That's it. That's
so
the
now,
other podcast.
Yes, yeah. So I'm ready to move on from knowing what I'm talking about to pretending like I know what I'm talking about.
That is the whole point of the show. Me and Tom we've been talking the last couple of weeks or so about getting together and doing a podcast just for old time's sake. And Tom was like, "Man, I'm so deep in the off season right now. I couldn't even tell you, if Bobby Sears was running his Mod Mini this week or what's going on."
Yeah, I said, I'll bet that Bobby Spears is going to be the sports stock champion.
Yes. Yeah. Verbatim there. So
let me know if you get any slurps on the mic, because that's gross. We don't want that.
But last couple of weeks, I've had a cough drop in my mouth half the time. So
rattling around in your teeth.
If you listen to last week, watch the race rewind, my voice just I was okay, but my voice wasn't 100% back. And I would say it's about 95% back. So I'm ready for Red Eye, man. And the whole reason for having Tom in. Tom can come in any week and do a show, but we're going to get Tom up to speed a little bit too. A little Red Eye preview here this week. I'm going to talk about, I actually got to announce my first race of the season, and it wasn't on an asphalt track. So we'll talk about my experience filling in for Bob at Volusia. And I've got updated power rankings for the World Series. The Clash at the Coliseum is coming up this weekend for NASCAR. So I've got a quick, and we'll make the power rankings quick because we've got a lot to get to in the show, but I do have power rankings and stuff, and we'll talk a little bit of Red Eye, a little preview, a little bit of controversy with the Red Eye at the moment that we'll talk about as well. And then in the second segment, we're going to hear what Tom's experience is like, because he's got a very hectic World Series. I think I don't think World Series is easy for anybody, but everybody's experience is different depending on your role, whether you're a racer, a crew member, a family member. Everybody has a different experience. We're not just, okay, it's 7 o'clock, let's race. There's so much that goes into it for 9-10 days in a row, whatever it may be for that individual. So we're going to hear what it's like for Tom. We're going to see what Tom's been up to with Speedway Video, what his plans are for the 2024 season. And then at the end of the show, we do have a little bit of around the state. Some tracks did get some racing in this past weekend, so we'll touch on that. So with that said, Tom, I talked to you about it because I got a phone call early last week. It was on Wednesday, asking if I could come over to Volusia Speedway Park and fill in for Bob Stokel. And, anytime my phone rings and it's somebody asking if I can fill in at an oval short track, I'm going to try to be there.
Yeah.
And just had to make a couple of things work. Had to clear it over with my boss, say, hey, I'm going to work some crazy hours to make this up, get everything done. And if it's cool with you, I'd appreciate it. She was like, yep, go ahead. Called a babysitter, my mom, thank God. She was able to arrange some of her day on Thursday and come over and watch Peyton. Soon she'll be at that age where I can just be like, hey, we're going to the racetrack. You're going to sit over here and color or, do homework, because in a couple of years she'll be doing homework. But right now she loves being at the racetrack, but if I got to work, she just needs that extra bit of attention. So she stayed home. I was able to arrange all that. So I head out to Volusia on Thursday afternoon, and I told them, I'm like, look, I've got to work. I've got to arrange childcare. So I'm not going to be there. I can't be there when the gates open and walk around the pits. I'm going to leave my house and get there and be ready to go. I'm filling in, so I kind of feel like, listen, I've been doing this long enough where if I don't know who's in a car, hey, the guy in the white 59 car, they're coming up to pass him, that gets the message over just as good as anything else. And if you make it sound like you know what you're talking about, well, damn it. It sounds good enough for most people.
That's one of the first lessons I ever received at the first job I ever worked at was exactly that. The context was a little different. It was I was, as they called it, an environmental specialist at a hospital, a janitor.
Yeah.
And I was being trained by somebody who was, his real specialty was slacking off.
Oh,
so he was training me like, hey, here are the different rooms you can go in and the security guards won't bother you. Here are the floors that have like a whole bunch of different cable channels with good movies on them. And so that was my training.
So you really did learn the ropes.
And he just said like, hey man, if you walk and talk like you know what you're doing, nobody will question you.
Yeah.
You could walk out of here with an MRI machine, load it into a truck and drive off and sell it as long as you looked like you knew what you were doing.
And I live by that motto because I can't tell you how many times I've walked through the pits, not to be sneaky, but like to go see somebody that I know. And I'm like, if I just walk in here like I know what I'm doing, nobody's going to say anything. And I'm not looking to, just to make it clear, I'm not looking to sneak into the pits and be like, oh, I'm in the pits. I'm just, listen, just know what you're doing and don't make a fool of yourself. Don't draw attention to yourself and do something stupid. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll come do this. And you know what? Sidetrack, which is going to happen a lot in this episode because that's how Tom work. You remind me of my friend Sam when he worked security at Full Sail.
Oh,
because he knew all the rooms that would be dark at a certain time when there was no classes, and he'd go into the studio and sleep on the couch.
Yeah,
so,
no, I knew where and with whom I could safely like take naps. And I mean, I was a 17, 18-year-old kid.
So that sounded great.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, you could either learn how to work the floor buffing machine, or you could, and like, okay, well, and the weekend that my boss got wise, and I didn't get in trouble. He just said, okay, I'm scheduling out your jobs now. I'm not saying, hey, you've got 8 hours to go clean the hospital in general. I'm going to give you a specific itinerary of what to do.
Yeah.
That weekend was the one I decided not to show up anymore.
You put the kibosh on it. So
I mean, I was a 17-year-old kid. That's not morals I relate to anymore, but that's what I did at the time.
Sure. So yeah, I went into this Volusia experience like, hey, I'm just going to go do the best I can. I found out it was sprint cars and 3/4 modifieds. It was a 2-division night. So I'm like, oh, okay, this should be over. I should get home relatively at a decent hour. Which for me, I'm a night owl anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I was going to be up till midnight, 1 o'clock, regardless of if I was at the racetrack or not. So I get out there, and then I find out, they've got Dirt Vision TV was there. So the Dirt Vision guy would be doing the sprint cars because that's the reason they're there. They covered this particular sprint car series. And I'm not a big sprint car guy anyways. I appreciate them. I enjoy them, but I don't really follow them. They're cool to see every now and then, but they're not like, oh my God, sprint cars are my favorite thing in the world. So
the line they run is fun to watch.
Yeah, and they're cool machines. It's just, to me, it's like it takes them longer to get started for a heat race than the heat race actually takes to run. It's not quite as bad during the feature because the feature is a little bit longer. But then it was like, okay, well, that takes the load off. I know some of the 3/4 modified guys. I've seen them a couple of times. A couple of their guys used to run New Smyrna. So, and there was a couple of my quarter midget kids that I announced that have moved up to 3/4 mods on the dirt. So, there was a couple of people that I knew in the field that I could really sound like, okay, let me give you the lowdown on some of these kids or some of these guys, because it's a diverse group.
I'm finally starting to get to that point too, where like Becca Monopoly recently announced that she's doing ARCA.
Yeah,
and
cool.
like I've never even said hello to her, but I filmed her for years and watched her journey. So you
know who that is.
And so I sort of like felt a sense of pride in a way. Like that's a weird word to use in this context, but I was kind of like, damn, I'm proud of you.
You feel happy for these people that you've watched on the short tracks for the last 5, 6, 7 years, however long it's been, and then you see them get an opportunity, and you want them to do well. Yeah. So I felt that way for David LeBeau back in 2017 when he did ARCA. Michael Lira did ARCA. Cesar Baccarella. I don't, even at that point, I'd only been around a year, but I still felt a connection. Like, those guys race at my track. Yeah. And they're at Daytona right now. That's really cool. So that's one of my favorite parts about the position I'm in. I've seen all these people come up through the ranks, so when they have an opportunity or they make it, you feel that sense of accomplishment for them, and you want to root for them. So, I had a little bit of that going into the 3/4 mod race. And I will admit, since it was primarily a television broadcast, or, a streaming broadcast, I say television, that's a boomer term. It was, the stream was broadcast over the PA. So for me, I am such a crowd announcer. I'm not a streaming TV announcer. So when those situations come up where the audio is simulcast, basically, I tend to go more towards the crowd. like entertain the people that are in your building paying to see this event. Because I feel like they need to be entertained as well. Whereas, and no offense to the dirt vision guys, they're doing their thing, and their thing is the TV.
Of course, it's a different style. Like I imagine a lot of sports stadiums, but I'm familiar with it in baseball stadiums. They've got separate arena or stadium and TV.
Yep.
Yeah, different announcers.
And like even at Daytona, they've got the TV guys, and then they have like MRN radio calling the action on the track.
Yeah,
for the fans.
and of course, radio is a totally different thing because you have to understand that your audience can't see.
Right, so you've got to be
happening.
so descriptive. And I try to do that when I do the race rewinds because I'm like, okay, some people are just going to be listening to this. I really want to get more descriptive. And then if they go back and watch it, then they can get the extra bit of info.
Those are so cool to watch back. If anybody didn't listen to or watch back the video of the truck race that you did last week, it's so cool to listen back to the analysis.
And I always try to like find some extra little tidbits of information to throw out there. And I feel like I did good with that. And it was a very exciting race. And I know Richard Levance appreciated it. So that made me happy to do that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, back to Volusia, I was like, man, not that I was nervous, but I had a little bit of butterflies just because, okay, new situation. I showed up and they just brought me up there and they're like, oh, we got to get you a microphone. So I'm sitting there like, I hope they bring me a microphone soon. I hope I get a microphone soon because I don't have anything. Okay, got the microphone. I hope it works because it's not mine and I didn't plug it in and I'm not. They got their fancy little machine over there with all the levels, and I have no control over it, so I hope it works. I hope I don't screw up. Hope I don't start talking and nothing's happening, So the first round was hot laps for the sprint cars, and that took a while because there was like 8 groups of them because there was like 40 some odd sprint cars there, and they split up the heat races. So there was like 8 groups of hot laps. It's only literally it takes them longer to start than to go for 2 laps of hot laps. And I love hot lap practice. That you go out there in your group, get a couple laps. Okay, car's running. We're ready.
Exactly.
So I had all of that to sit through and just kind of be like, okay, all right, I'm going to do fine. I just want to start. And then it was my turn and started going. And I'm like, okay, yep. Definitely got to learn these guys. Of course, there's a couple duplicate numbers. So it's like, okay, I really got to pay attention to which 26 is which and try to figure it out because, you can't see the little B under the 6 there. I was able to figure all that out. I had a little bit of information that Bob sent me. So I had like track champions and like top drivers and points. So I had a few talking points for these guys, which was very helpful. Bob had given me the track record, which was set earlier last year. And so I kind of had that for qualifying. And this Colton Lane kid comes out and just obliterates the track record in qualifying. Wow. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like I'll go double check with scoring, but I think we have a new track record there. Yeah. Holy cow, this guy is flying. Because I'm like, yeah, according to my paperwork here that, and I several times I get Bob's shout out like, oh, he'll be back tomorrow. I know if you're a regular here, you're probably, waiting to hear Bob and he'll be back. So I was like, yeah, the paperwork Bob gave me says that's a new track record. Well, come to find out that this Colton Lane kid had broken the track record in December. So since Bob had been there, he broke it again. So he was just under or just over the track record. But the information I had hadn't quite updated from December, the last time they raced. So Colton Lane was very fast. He looked to be the class of the field. He had like half a second on the field in qualifying. So it looked like my job was going to be pretty easy. Just like watch the battle for second because Colton Lane's going to smoke everybody. The heat races happen. And the crazy thing about dirt, man, they run like an 8-lap heat race and half the field is a lap down. Mm-hmm. Like, we might get 1 or 2 cars off the pace, but our heats stay relatively close together. Yeah. It spreads out a little bit, but dirt racing's so funny, man. Like, there's a huge disparity through the field. You got really fast cars, and then you got really slow cars. And I think it has a lot to do with how dynamic the line is. Like, if you miss it just a bit, it's not like an asphalt track where everybody's kind of running the same line. They're all kind of glued together like slot cars. I feel like in the dirt world, if you missed your line just a little bit, your lap time is killed. So it really spreads the field out quickly.
And you were telling me that the line changes throughout the night.
Yeah, it really did. The track really widened out. In the heat races, it was kind of a single groove track, didn't really wide out. But then when they started getting more cars out there, and as we went through the night, the groove really did change. And there was a cushion. And that's like the upper line of dirt that gets pushed up every time they go, and it's got more moisture. I think I was telling you about that. So they search for that moisture to get those tires to hook up. So the cars are moving up the track, and if you move up too high and you jump that cushion and get into the loose dirt, because you think about the marbles that get kicked up on the outside of the racetrack, you got no grip, and your times will suffer, and that happened in the features. So the heat races were pretty exciting. By that point, I was feeling pretty confident, and I started to hear from people. Dennis Gardner from the New Smyrna Quarter Midget Association, the president, he texted me. He's like, "Hey, cool to hear you announcing at a real racetrack." And I was like, I'm always happy to help out. I'm just helping Bob out tonight, but thank you. Glad you're enjoying the show. And then I heard from Blake Clouser, and he echoed those same statements, like, "Hey, whoa, cool to hear you calling a real race at Dirt." And I was like, "No, I'll be calling a real race on February 3rd at Red Eye, but thank you." And I'm just those guys. Every time they see me, they're like, "Oh, enjoying some real racing." I'm like, I enjoy all racing. I'm an asphalt guy, but I enjoy dirt. Like I'm not like, oh my god, I go to every dirt race in the world, but I've always enjoyed going to Volusia. So to get the chance to go back there and announce, I couldn't turn it down. And I feel like I did a good enough job. Obviously, if I had more time, if it wasn't just thrown at me a day, I could have prepared a little bit more, but I still had to work, still had to take care of my kid, But I feel like I like I said earlier, I did enough to make it seem like I knew what I was talking about and got through it. And then we got to the feature, and it was only a 15-lap feature, which doesn't seem very much, but those, it's a big track. Those cars they were like 7 seconds slower than the sprint cars. The sprint cars were like 14 seconds. These guys were going 21 seconds, 22 seconds. So like the speed differential, especially watching the sprints and then the modifieds right after each other, it was pretty crazy.
That's the kind of thing where I get like cameraman lead foot. I don't know if there actually is a jargon term for it, but when a slower division hits the track after a faster division,
you're like,
I'll beat the cars, and I'm like, oh, whoops, they're still back there.
Yeah. And it's funny, like during World Series qualifying, when you get like super lates and then like the sportsmen qualify, because you think, wow, those things look fast, but then you really see the difference between them. We got to the feature, and poor kid on like lap 5, he just went for a little lazy spin in turns 3 and 4, and when he turned the car back the other way to try to correct it, it hooked, it dug into the dirt, and flopped over on its roof. So right away there was a flip, which I haven't seen many flips over there, and I'm trying to remember who it was that flipped over. I think it was, let me scroll down here. It was Nathan Hahn in the 29. He just did a lazy rollover, and then the race got going. I think there was another caution for a spin here or there. But it was Colton Lane up front. It looked like he was going to run away and win. And then with 2 laps to go, coming to the checkers, he caught lap traffic, and it was the 59 of Robert Bowen, who got in the way in the heat race too. That's what made me bring up the disparity between the cars, even in the heats. Like there was lap traffic for the leaders to deal with in the heats. And Volusia's a half-mile track. It's not like some little bull ring where they're on top of each other the whole time. It's a big track. So that just tells you the difference there. But they came up to Robert Brown, and Colton Lane jumped the cushion coming off turn number 4 and got big sideways. And the driver in second, ironically, the other number 26, like I was telling you earlier, there's all those duplicate number cars. Timmy Hogan's able to come by and gets the win. So all night I'm like, Colton Lane is going to win this race. It's going to be a runaway. Hey, at least I got to come watch some sprint cars and have some fun. Ended up being a really good race with a pretty dramatic finish. And I'm not going to dwell on these results too much, but Timothy Hogan did win the 3/4 mod feature. Colton Lane was second. Dalton Hopke third. Ethan Hahn was fourth. Fifth for Paul Shedd, a driver I remember seeing in regular modifieds. And then the sprint car race was pretty cool. 43 cars. I think they started 24, 25 of them. So the heat races mattered. The last chance qualifiers mattered. Some really good racing. First lap of the first heat, Tyler Clem, Bubba the Love Sponge kid, jumped a wheel and flipped. And that was the only sprint car major incident of the night, and it happened on the drop of the first green flag. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was there racing. He got in the show on a provisional because he wasn't able to qualify. Another driver I want to highlight, Glenn Stiers in the 0, all the way from Ohsweken, Ontario, Canada. He is racing a Prolate in the World Series. So I saw him with his sprint car in the pits. I walked up to him and I pointed at his trailer. I'm like, you got the Prolate in there too? And he's like, nah, that's a week from now. And I'm like, I know, but is it in there? Do you have it already down here? And he's like, nope. I'm like, so you're going to go all the way home, drop the sprint car off and get the late model? He's like, yep. So I just, I thought that was cool. He made the show, so I was happy about that. A lot of these sprint car guys I'm not really familiar with, but it was Sam Hafferty, who got the victory in the 15 on night number 1. This was night 1 of a 3-night series. I don't really know much about what happened in night number 2, but let me just give you the winners. It was the same divisions. Austin McCarl won on night number 2. Sam Haffertepe was in the second spot on night 2. And then let me find the 3/4 mod finish here. And I'm just going to blaze through this so we can continue with the program here. You can go back on Dirt Vision and watch this if you'd like. I'm assuming Bob was back. I know during the night I did give Bob a shout out. And I said, Bob, if you're watching, buddy, hope you're feeling better. Appreciate the opportunity here tonight. And he texted me. He said, thank you very much. And you're doing a good job. So that was cool.
Nice.
Tim Hogan won on night number 2 of the 3/4 mod. So he went 2 for 2. And wouldn't you know it, Colton Lane led 9 laps of the race and finished a lap down. So something again happened to Colton Lane. Not sure what, but just looking at the finish here. 17 cars on both nights for the 3/4 mod. So good turnout of cars. And then on the third and final night here, let's see who won the sprint car main event. It went to Ryan Timms in the 5T. I remember that car, Sitco sponsor car, if I'm not mistaken. Very sharp machine. Sam was third and Austin was fourth. So the same guys kind of near the front, which is typically the case when they get it figured out. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 14th. He was just kind of mid-pack guy. And then 3/4 mods. Let me scroll down because they have literally hot lap results on here. They've got results from everything, which is pretty cool. Good on Volusia for having everything right there available for you. So let me scroll down to 3/4 modifieds and see who won on the third night. Tim Hogan swept the week. Good for him. Colton Lane came home second, and guess what? It says started first. Colton Lane led 10 laps. Final 5 laps went to Hogan. So It looked like Colton Lane had the best car until like the last 5 laps.
He's got that 2022 Michael Hind luck.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. So that's what went down at Volusia. Really appreciate the opportunity. Like I said, it was different. Like, I was the secondary guy. You know, the Dirt Vision guys, they had their stuff. The main announcer, he had like his TV monitor. He had a computer. He had his notebook, like a consummate professional. It was really cool to see them work and how smooth it was. And even for me, like, you know, they would just throw it to me, but I would just pick it up like I knew, like I've been with these guys for years and years and years. It went really well. But I treated it like I was calling a race for the fans in the grandstands. And, you know, so they throw the mic over to me and I'm like, hey, don't forget to get your 50-50 tickets, because the TV guys are like, hey, we're going to play some ads for our stuff. And they kind of just, you know, they don't forget the fans are there, but they're focused on the TV. So I made my focus the fans for the local division, because the fans in the stands probably know the local guys a little bit. And so that was kind of my focus. So there's a different dynamic. And like I said, a little bit of butterflies at the beginning, settled those down in hot laps, which was good to call the hot laps because I got to get that practice in. And yeah, it went really well and it was a lot of fun. Awesome opportunity. I just, you know, sometimes the phone rings and you're like, man, that kind of doesn't really fit into my week. But you take the call, you make the most of it, and you never know. They may call again. And it's funny, I spent like 30 minutes afterwards filling out paperwork to become an employee at Volusia Speedway Park for a night. You know, total professional dynamic over there, corporate, if you will, is kind of how it felt. First time I've been in their brand new tower. I've called races with Bob before back, you know, we did the truck race on dirt that Rich Clouser won and all that stuff back in the day. But I haven't been there since I redid the tower. So it was cool to be in there. Great facility, great racetrack, a lot of fun. So yeah, it's kind of a surprise. Last couple weeks, haven't had much racing to talk about here. And here I am telling you about my dirt/TV experience.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And like I told you personally, I think it's the kind of thing where even if it was a bit foreign to what you're used to, it's experience that you can take with you if you stay at New Smyrna or if you do anything different. It's experience under your belt. I think it's real cool that you got to do it. Man, I've only been to Volusia that one time that New Smyrna
dragged
rained
you out there.
Yeah, and we went to see George Spears. Yep. And the main thing I remember about it is just that I had to shower after.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was nice about being in the booth. I didn't get dirty. And because they had the team for the sprint cars, when those things raced, I went and sat in the grandstands because I wanted to feel, those cars are mean. I wanted to feel that power of 25 of those things taking off down into turn number 1 and throwing dirt. So
feel it rumbling in your chest.
Oh, dude, you feel it like in your feet as they rumble the grandstands. It was really cool. It was fun.
My fasciitis.
And I did tell him at the beginning, I'm like, yeah, this is the only night I can come, so hopefully Bob can make it. I gave him Austin's information in case Bob couldn't make it, because Austin, that's what he does now is dirt.
Right,
so
right.
I feel like he would have done a good fill-in job as well. And if anything, the experience was nice, and the fact that like I can go into a more or less foreign situation and do my thing.
Yeah.
And 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I couldn't have done that. I'd be too scared to do that. So I just think that says a lot about the way you can grow as a person and instead of being scared of opportunity, grasping opportunity. And I say if opportunity jumps in your lap, go for it. If you screw it up and you're helping out, well, at least it was a one and done situation. Take advantage of the opportunities, make the most of it, enjoy life. With that said, we got the Red Eye 50-50 coming up here February 3rd at New Smyrna. Practice on Friday night. It should be a good turnout. With World Series around the corner, of course, you're going to have a few teams that, can't come down a couple of days early. You're going to have a few teams that are like, I'm not going to go risk my car before the World Series. The other thing that we're battling a little bit right now, there's a new Hoosier tire coming out for Speed Weeks for the late models.
Okay.
They tested it up at Cordial for Speedfest. Got really good reviews.
Is this the controversy?
A little bit. It's a little bit of a controversy. It's just a tough situation for some of the teams, and I totally do not fault any of the teams for their decisions here. The car counts are going to be fine. There's going to be enough drivers that come out. You'll get some of our locals that aren't going to do the World Series. They're itching to get on the racetrack. We're going to have a good mix of drivers. But with this new Hoosier tire, they have enough production, but they're keeping it for World Series. So we're using the old tires for Red Eye that we already have in stock because Hoosier said, use what you have. We're only giving you new ones for World Series. Yeah. So we're using the old Hoosier tire, and I'm sorry I don't have it's F45 is the old one. I forget what the new one is called. I'm sorry I don't have it in front of me. Tires are not my department, and I don't even want to get mixed up in this whole situation. I don't even want to debate with you about it. If you feel like it's not to your benefit to run Red Eye because it's the old tires, then you don't have to run Red Eye. And there is a big team that they're bringing 5 cars to the World Series, 4 supers and a pro, Donnie Wilson Motorsports. And they're going to sit out Red Eye because they feel like they're not going to learn anything on the old tire. And now I will argue that with their they got like 3 pretty young drivers. They got a couple of veteran drivers that can probably just, get practice on Thursday and be up to speed and ready to go. And Donnie Wilson Motorsports, they're so good. That's really all they need is Thursday practice, and they'll be good to go, to be honest with you. So them sitting out Red Eye, it's probably null and void. But I feel like the track time in race conditions, even if it's on a slightly different tire, I feel like there's nothing better than a practice race. Because you can go out there in the heat of the day and run practice lap after practice lap, because that's what they do all day before you get out there.
Isn't that the same? Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same reason why people do iRacing? To familiarize with the track and to familiarize with
and even
oddities
that,
like how the front stretch
kinda
outside
bites at
wall.
you.
Yeah.
And that's along the same lines. But, you could run 1,000 laps on iRacing, but the first time you get behind the wheel of an actual car, it's night and day different.
Yeah.
But at least kind of how turn 1 and 2 feels.
Right, exactly.
So it's a good thing to have in your hip pocket, which is why I feel like it's beneficial to, even if your goal during the Red Eye race is to not get in the mix and just kind of be out there, there's nothing wrong with that either. But get out there in race conditions and learn what's going to happen so that when you come next Friday to the first Super Late Model or Pro Late Model race, you've got a race under your belt.
Yeah.
Just 5 days previous.
And maybe you're running next to somebody who you ran next to 2 weeks ago and you know
right.
their line.
And you've learned some people's racecraft a little bit.
Yeah.
So, the tire thing is an unfortunate situation that I just learned about. I talked to Rusty about it. He's like, yeah, Donnie Wilson's not coming. And I said, look, it's okay.
I see both sides of it.
I do. And that's why I'm like, it's okay. Yeah, I'd prefer they be there. I prefer we'd be on the new tires. But I'm glad that we still get to do this event. And you know what? If we get, half of the super lates that are on the list to come for World Series, and it's going to be a hell of a race.
I'll be happy with that.
And I do have the preliminary entries here. It's not the list we had going into the original Red Eye was pretty impressive. And it had grown and ballooned. And I feel like this one will as well. And listen, when I get to the track on Friday for practice, whoever's there, I'm going to say, because another thing that may happen, we might get some people that come out Friday for practice that may not race Red Eye because they're just like, well, I'm going to go get some track time and I'm putting her in the trailer and I'm saving it for Speed Weeks. And there's nothing wrong with that either.
This tire, is it the new one going forward or is it just for World Series?
No,
and then we're back to the...
From what I understand, it's the new late model tire going forward. And it put on a good show at Cordial. So I'm very interested to see how it performs. I think it'll help get the cars... The super lates, especially lately, they've been very slot car.
Yeah.
So, very hard to pass. I think
That's
this will
the catchphrase is like, it's hard to pass.
Yeah. And I think these cars are so aero dependent now. They're very technical now. It's going to be hard to pass regardless. But I think this tire will give them a little bit more wiggle room and make it easier to run a little bit more side by side. In theory, based on the reactions I read from the few reactions I read from Cordial. But the tire got good reviews. So we're going to use the old tire for Red Eye. We're going to get rid of the stock. I've even heard rumors, and there's nothing wrong with this either. Red Eye is not a big paying race. I've heard some people are going to run the new tires if they have them. If the teams have them, they're going to come run the new tires. To hell with you if you DQ me. I'm going to go out there and race on the new tire and see what it's like.
That makes a lot of sense.
There could be a lot of things going on behind the scenes, extracurricular at Red Eye, and I don't think any of it's bad. I made the post at the end of December, like, hey, come out to the Red Eye on January 6th and get some good practice for the World Series. And people are like, oh, you're promoting this as a practice, a glorified practice. No, hell yeah, it's practice for the World Series, man, in race form. We get to enjoy a race and see a little World Series preview. And that's what I was talking about in January. Yeah. But now it's truly a World Series preview. You're going to see some people, and there's people that are coming now that normally would not come to Red Eye. So I think, the ones that are going to sit it out, they weren't going to come in January anyway. And now we're going to get a couple of those guys. And there is super lates at Auburndale, but you've seen enough Auburndale super late races to know there's not really any crossover. They have like their 14, 15 guys. George Gorham can't race there anymore. He's really the only guy that you would argue. TJ DeCare. But he's got a Cars Tour ride now, so I think he's focused on that. May run Auburndale, but he's Auburndale's his home track, so I don't blame him. I was talking to somebody online and like, oh, there's 2 super late races going on at the same time, but they're both going to be great.
Yeah.
Auburndale's race will be fine. Ours will be fine. The names I have on the list so far, even if these are the only drivers to show up, I think it'll be a good field. We have Jonathan Nee in the 8 car. He was at Governor's Cup.
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Cataldi for Jet Motorsports in the 9. Brad May. He got his rain out. He wasn't going to make it in Barcelona, so he gets to come.
Oh, I forgot about that.
He's excited about that.
Or he was in Barcelona.
Mm-hmm. Barcelona?
Well,
is that a tomato thing?
Okay. If you're from Barcelona,
okay.
Listen, that's what Antonio Banderas calls it.
You're much more versed in that kind of stuff, so I'll take your word for it. You're much more cultured than I am. Excuse me. And these are the super late entries, by the way. Jeff Chiquette for Jet Motorsports.
Yeah.
Give me Jeff Chiquette behind the wheel of a super late, and I'm happy. And I love watching him.
Everybody you've said so far, I'm excited about.
You're
but
like,
you know that every time you say Jeff Chiquette, I'm like, oh hey, yay,
I know him
because I knew him from when we started at New Smyrna,
exactly.
And I noticed him then. So anytime he comes back, I'm just like, all right, cool, I know that guy.
It's a good name to have in the field.
Yeah.
Billy Van Meter in the 23. He's a World Series guy, so he's coming. Bobby Good, one of our locals. Ty Fredrickson is driving his dad's 30. I think it's his dad, but then I saw the ages on my race pass. Not that I trust them. I assume Ty Fredrickson was Dan Fredrickson's son, but the ages now are throwing me off. But Ty Fredrickson in the 36 out of Minnesota. John Kaufman, I spoke with him last night. And he says, I don't give a damn what tire y'all are running. We're coming. So we'll see John Kaufman. I love his attitude. Brandon Turbush in the 05, another World Series guy who's going to do, hey, I'm making the trip down. Might as well stay. And Tony Elrod was going to go out to Irwindale, California to run the SRL race out there because Tony Elrod is focused on travel, but he's going to stay local now. That he made the determination to stay local and come to Red Eye, and then it ended up getting rained out. Anyway, they canceled due to weather. So we're definitely benefiting, I would say. I think that's 8, 9, 10 names, something like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's 10 names already.
Yeah.
And I think there are some that may have pre-registered for the first edition that are like, well, I don't have to register again.
Yeah.
I want to start a new list because plans change.
And in Weirdo Fantasy World, if this was the field, if this was the
it'd be good enough.
One, I would be happy about this field.
Right.
Also, Schofield was the other crossover name that I was thinking of. I don't know.
Well, they have an ARCA East car now.
Okay.
And Tyler Schofield is focusing on that. So I don't think we're going to see them much this year, which is unfortunate, but also cool that they've found another thing to go do.
Yeah. And I'll have some Stone Cold Steve Austin throwbacks going up.
There you go.
What do I've got to come up with, like SCO cold. No, that doesn't really work. But yeah, there's a thumbnail that'll be coming out
Stone Cold
soon.
Jeff Schofield. I mean, that just
Stone Cold
that
Jeff
has
Schofield.
That
does
that
have
has
a
a
nice,
good ring to it. I
he should
like
start
that.
using
Damn,
that.
I should have used that.
Yeah.
For years.
There's,
Oh well.
There's a thumbnail coming up maybe a couple months from now that it looks like Stone Cold making his entrance at WrestleMania
Schofield
13. WrestleMania 13.
He's another one of those guys that just having him in your field, it just amplifies the race. You know what I mean? So yeah, he'll be missed this year, former Red Eye champion. So yeah, not the biggest list at the moment. I think it'll come much more into focus. I think we got another 4, 5, 6, maybe 8 cars that we'll see on Saturday for the Supers. I would say, and look, this list, there could be a few that don't race. You know, they may plans change. I say give or take another handful of cars. It'll be a solid field. It'll be a solid race. Prolates, not quite as many as the initial list. But I've got Brandon Lopez in the 6th. Brad May is going to do double duty. He texted me yesterday and said, yep, we're going to bring the pro as well.
Nice.
EJ Tomeno from Miami. Stuart Dutton, driving for Jet Motorsports. Tim Laurent in the 33 has made the decision to... when I spoke with him after the rainout, he said, well, yeah, we got to practice, so at least it wasn't a total wash this weekend for us. Can't make it to the redo, but he's made it happen. So he's coming back. George Phillips is coming down. Max Reeves, a driver that I'm familiar with from Quarter Midgets. He runs all the national races, and his family owns the cookout restaurants. So Max is making his jump into late models, and according to Holly, is supposed to make his late model debut at New Smyrna at the Red Eye.
That's like a movie star name or an action hero name, Max Reeves.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? When I searched for a car of Max Reeves to make a welcome post, there's an actress, a young actress named Max Reeves, who's, dare I say, provocative. So my search history now is I'm looking for race cars here, and I got other things going on. So
I'm just gonna do some research real quick on my phone.
I gotta go do some research. Don't bug me. Jimmy, told y'all we're gonna have fun on this one. Jimmy Renfrew in the 00. Again, a World Series guy is gonna do double duty. Sportsman right now, I've got Chris Huntoon, Don Keithley, Blaze Hetchnecker, and Dylan LeBeau. 602 mods, Tom Toronto, Kelly Jarrett, Chris Hatton, Christopher Hatton, and Matt Jarrett. Bomber A still going to race for $1,000 to win. Probably going to be 12 to 15 cars. Aaron Foy, Tim Soares, Devin Dutton, Charles Friddle, Joe Sunday, James Partlow are the registered cars. And like I said, don't look at this list even on Thursday and be like, well, I'm not going. Let us get to Friday and let us see what's really going on, because pre-entries are not required ever at New Smyrna. You can always just show up and race. Some people may not even know they have to, they may have pre-registered from the old one, don't even think they have to do it. They don't have to do it, period. They just show up. So I'll get a better idea on Friday, and we'll know for sure Saturday night after practice who's doing what, and it's going to be a good time, and I'm looking forward to it. And, Tom's in off-season mode.
Yeah.
But even he, hearing that super list, I think you're pretty excited to get the camera on.
Oh, yeah, I figured once I started hearing some familiar names, I'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, no, here we go. And I mean, Red Eye, as far as the Facebook comments go, if somebody's got something negative to say, they're going to find a way to say it no matter what.
Yeah.
But it's practice night for me, too, because I wasn't expecting to have much of an off season. Last year, I did not have much of an off season.
No, you were out like every week in January filming races.
Oh, it was nuts. And
I barely raced in January. So
Mike Engel was going to give me a ride in his car, and I ended up not following up on that, even though he and I had talked about it quite a bit. I was actually going to run a race in the mini stocks at Auburndale.
That's right.
And I just didn't end up following up on it.
Well, and they really haven't run much, so there's been more rainouts than anything. So.
That's part of it. And yeah, he said he was going to keep his mini stock open for a little while. Now he's gonna park it and get into. I always forget whether it's street stocks or their other pure stock. I think he's going into a pure stock.
I think pure stock. Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't follow up on it because I was like, oh man, I've got like multiple now. New Smyrna all of a sudden has 2 January events, and I'm going to work the banquet. And
any of it except the banquet, which was a disaster. So.
Yeah, my goodness, with all 3 cameras that I ran.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in the second segment.
Oh boy, yeah. But that's actually it's related because this is practice night for me. Like I've got to get back into the groove. I've got new memory cards now. I don't think the memory cards were the issue, but I've got new memory cards, and I've just sort of like got to get the rhythms back. And once I'm back up on the tower with the cameras in place, it's all just gonna
it's like
snap right back.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. You just got to take the training wheels back off and get on it.
But I am a little bit like, okay, I have 4 GoPros. One of them I don't use anymore because it's too old. I sent the 3 that I still use back. I had enough customer service tickets with them that they finally were like, okay, they're out of warranty, but just send them all back to us and we're going to replace every single one. So I got 2 new Mini 11s and 1 new Hero 10, which was a replacement for my Hero 9. So I got an accidental upgrade, and they're still having the exact same issues that I sent them in for.
That's got to be a software thing.
So, oh boy,
or a hardware thing.
So I'm just like, all right, just gotta set stuff up,
set it up,
hit record, and cross my fingers,
and hope you don't have a banquet situation on your hands. How you piece that together though is real well.
I appreciate that.
Do have a quick update on our Pro Late model entries. Jet Motorsports has entered Lawless Allen in a Pro Late model as well for Saturday. So Jet Motorsports coming with 2 Supers and 2 Pros. That's pretty stout. I don't have a number on Lawless Allen, so I'll put him on the entry list just on the bottom and fill in the number come Friday. Truck Series driver, by the way, Lawless Allen. So, it's like we've been talking about, recording this on Tuesday night. It's going to be an absolutely great show. It's just going to be great to be back on track. Little mini preview for the World Series. And speaking of the World Series here, I'm actually going to check and see if any new entries have come in for the World Series. Big update here, talking Tuesday morning, and I have 7 or 8 entries to add when I wake up on Wednesday. And I don't, at the moment, got a new Pro Late that has come in, new Super Stock that's come in. So I've really got about a 8-9 car update to the entry list coming on Wednesday. So by the time you hear this, there's going to be even more cars, and we're closing in. Awesome. We are closing in on 200 total entries.
Nice.
For the World Series, all divisions total. But the main divisions are looking stout. I mean, 20-plus Supers, 20-plus, closing in on 30 Pros, over 30 Tour Modifieds, over 30 602s, and about 8 right now Florida Modifieds. So not the biggest for them. I was talking to Rusty. I'm like, we got to look into doing something else maybe. And he goes, look, we changed the rules. In my experience, when you change the rules, it takes about 3 years for things to come around. So he's on a 3-year plan with that. So we're just going to cross our fingers and hope for the best there. Mike Mayberry has just entered his Pro Late model for the World Series. He is the owner of the Oxford Plains Speedway. So that's pretty cool. We have the owner of Oshweekon Speedway coming down for the Pro Lates and the owner of Oxford Plains coming down. World Series truly is a global event. We got drivers coming from Brazil. For Max Caius, he's got Mexican
from Brazil. No, that's not. No, that's not.
And by the way, next week will be the annual World Series preview show where I break down and give you my top 5 championship contenders in each of the 5 main divisions. I give you my predictions of who I think is going to win the big events. And that's always one of my favorite shows. Last year, I was dying doing the show. This year, I am feeling I'm feeling better. So I think it's like I've been telling people, I'm glad I got the winter bug when I did versus when I had it last year. So
yeah.
I appreciate y'all powering through the last couple of shows with me. To end segment number 1 here, I'm going to quickly go through the power rankings for the World Series, and I have NASCAR power rankings for the Clash. I'm going to do this quickly, and then we'll go to segment number 2, and we'll hear about Tom's experience here. I got 15 drivers here on the World Series power rankings. Again, let me breeze through it. In 15th, dropping 3 spots, is Brad May. And again, this is because new drivers have entered, so the ratings have been shuffled a bit. Tim Moore drops from 13th to 14th. He's one of the top Florida mod drivers, I believe. Isabella Robusto in a Pro Late model for Donnie Wilson Motorsports. The fact that it's a Donnie Wilson car, I've got to put her in 13th. I feel like she's a step behind Katie Hettinger, who I have in 12th. Isabella and Katie are going to duke it out for the top lady of the World Series this year, I feel.
It's going to be so interesting to see Hettinger because she's not
She's not in the
for
Campy
same,
car.
Yeah, so that's
and Campy's not racing. Anthony Campy Motorsports only running the ASA race. They are not racing the full World Series this year, which is disappointing. But
yeah, it is.
Hey, they put their eggs in the ASA basket, so which is going to be a hell of a race. So
Katie Hettinger was such a highlight last year because she got. I mean, and all young drivers do at the World Series. You said you were going to make it quick, and I was like, oh, I just know I'm going to find something to cut in.
It's all right,
but. They get just such a, is microcosm the word? It's just so much practice in such a short amount of time in big time race conditions.
Well, that's why the World Series is such a valuable thing.
Yeah, and just night after night after night, watching Katie figure stuff out and build her courage.
Yes,
and when she won her race, she won because she finally got the cojones to make a pass.
Yeah,
she had multiple times to win in other nights, and she backed off of the pass because she wasn't ready to do that yet. And then she did it, and she won. And it was the best celebration of the whole series.
You could just see the joy and the elation.
Yeah, that's definitely been a clip that I've gone back to multiple times.
So if she was with Anthony Campy, I think I'd have her in the top 5. It's a little bit of unknown with her family team, but I still feel like she'll do well, and she's one of the top prolates on my radar here. In 11th, dropping one spot, is Luke Baldwin, the top 602 mod and the only 602 mod driver I have on this list. They are going to have to battle to get on the list midweek during the World Series update show. Ryan Preece drops a spot to 10th. As I've talked about, he's probably going to run maybe 2, 3, 4 races whenever he can slip in with his NASCAR duties. So, but if Ryan Preece in the field, count on him being near the front. Nicholas Noggle drops from 8th to 9th. He's got a pro late and a super late. I feel like he'll be stronger in the pro than the super, but we shall see what happens. A big drop here for Derek Griffith in the super late model from 5th to 8th. I hate to do this, but so many good super late model drivers have entered over the last week that it's shuffled things around. Jeff Chiquette has entered the World Series, so I've got him 7th. Again, don't know if that's for the full World Series or not, but in the races that he does run, he's going to be strong. I feel like he'll be battling for the top 5.
Yeah, 2 former champions in a row right there. Griffith and
Chiquette
was in the pros?
Yes, sir, back in 2017. Yeah, good job. Good memory. I'm proud of you, Tom. That's good memory. Oh, yeah, I've been doing the video, man. I've been doing the recap video.
I actually did just recently re-edit. I didn't have that specific memory queued up in my mind just now, but I did just re-edit the 2017 World Series into a bunch of throwback videos that are going to be going up like a week and a half from now.
That was a good series for Jeff. In 6th, I've got Jerry Simon still, top Florida mod guy in my book right now as far as who's registered. Patrick Emmerling drops a spot from 4th to 5th in his Tour Modified, and that is because Gio Ruggiero has moved into the 4th place spot. He'll be driving for Donnie Wilson Motorsports in the number 22 machine. I think between Jeff Chiquette, Derek Griffith, Gio Ruggiero, and our 3rd place guy, William Swalich, that's going to be a hell of a battle in the Super Late Model ranks. Then you throw Brad May in there. Then you throw Nicholas Noggle in there and some of these other guys that might run a one-off here or there. It's going to be some good stuff. And I've got William Swalich in 3rd, driving for Kevin Harvick. Ron Silk remains in 2nd. Only got to beat Matt Hirschman last year in that Tour Model race, as we've talked about. And then, of course, Matt Hirschman, number 1. Undefeated. I think he's won 8 in a row. So he's going to be tough to beat. They're all gunning for him. Going to be fun.
Yeah, I was when you said Ronnie Silk, I was thinking, well, a reason for him to be further down on the list is because he's always in the field with Matt Hirschman. But I guess that is a reason for him to be that high as well. Because that's the only thing.
He's the only guy that's beat him in like 2 years. So and Ronnie Silk blew a motor on night 1 of the actual World Series last year. So he never really had a chance to show any muscle.
And you and I remember our conversation before that series started. We were predicting multiple winners in the Tour mods, which was wrong. But
it was crazy.
You and I both said, like, oh, yeah, Ronnie's getting one this year.
Oh, I thought after Saturday, I thought for sure after his Tour mod win, that was such a great race.
Yeah, I think we said Hirschman, Silk, and Blewett were each going to get one.
Yeah, and I'd say this year you're probably looking at Emmerling, Silk, and Hirschman as the big 3.
Yeah.
And who knows? I mean, one of these years, one of the Catalanos is just going to break through,
Yeah.
One of these years, Tommy Martino is going to have something go his way. Cam McDermott's going to find a way up there. There's some really good drivers, but Hirschman he's got a knack for this place, and PD Motorsports has it figured out.
Yeah, and as I've probably said it on here before, but I've said to you multiple times that watching Matt Hirschman drive is like watching the race car version of a surgeon. Like the way he cuts
the precision
through the field.
of his car.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I think the Tour mods are one of the first classes that caught your eye because you're like, they're so different and their maneuverability. You see the other cars, they go in their lane and they just stay in their line. The tour mods, they like dart like down the track, they dart up the track and come down the track.
Yeah, they look more like a car that I'm used to looking at, but aesthetically, but they drive more like the sprints.
Yes,
and like
similar,
you would think that Hirschman's dominance would be boring to watch, but it's the opposite. It's fascinating to watch how he does it.
And there's a lot of people that don't like him because he does win all the time. You know, it's like me and Kyle Larson. I don't like him because he wins all the time.
Yeah.
But for Matt, I always have great interactions with him. He seems very humble and appreciative of his opportunities. And, you know, haters going to hate. Everybody's got haters. And, you know, Matt's got a few and he's got some fans too. So listen, when you're winning, you're going to have it on both sides.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, since this was a topic, last week or 2 weeks ago on the podcast, the tour mods are novel to watch for reasons stated, and of course that we only get to see them here once a year. But I personally prefer the late model divisions when it comes to the World Series, and especially the pro lates, because you heard I feel like the tone of my voice changed when I started talking about Katie Hettinger. Like that's why I like watching the pro late division.
The storylines in the pro lates the last 3-4 years have been incredible.
Yeah.
So the Michael Hines storyline from 2 years ago, Katie Hettinger, and then Connor Jones winning last year.
Jamie Skinner versus you're gonna know the name
Jet
right
Nolan.
Jet Nolan. Yep.
And there'll be some updates to next year's power rankings because after I made this, Connor Jones has entered a super late. Jet Nolan has entered a super late. So we've still got some names to talk about. So World Series preview show next week. Going to be tough for me to come up with, but going to be a lot of fun. The 3 drivers that unfortunately did drop out with the new entries. Austin Nason has dropped out in his super late model. You throw him in the mix, that's going to be good. Tommy Catalano, I've dropped him out in his tour mod, and then Hunter Wright, who's driving a super and a pro, he has dropped out as well. Doesn't mean that those drivers can't work their way back in. Again, I'll do a midweek power ranking update in our midweek interview recap show that I always do, one of the most popular shows of the year. So, again, it's a good time to get on board if you want to sponsor the show. Before we take a quick break, here's my top 10 in power rankings for the NASCAR Clash at the Coliseum in L.A., In 10th, I've got Ryan Preece because his short track prowess is so good. Led laps in the class last year before electrical issues took him out. Led 100-plus laps at Martinsville last year. Kind of similar track to the Coliseum, even though it's way different. Preece is 10th because of that. Christopher Bell made the championship 4 last year. I've got him 9th. Joey Logano won the first Clash of the Coliseum. I've got him 8th. William Byron won a bunch of races last year, so I've got him 7th. Kyle Busch finished 3rd in the class last year, so I've got him 6th. In 5th, I have Tyler Reddick. Denny Hamlin is 4th because, well, it's Denny Hamlin. Martin Truex Jr., the defending winner of the Clash, is in 3rd. Kyle Larson, I got him 2nd because you got to put Kyle Larson in the mix. And number 1 because he won the championship last year, and until somebody dethrones him, I've got to have Ryan Blaney on top of the board. Clash of the Coliseum. This Sunday evening, they've got qualifying heat races on Saturday while we're at Red Eye. So when we're done with Red Eye, I'll come home and watch those. And we'll talk about the Clash next week and see what kind of shenanigans go down on the quarter-mile bull ring inside the LA Coliseum. With that said, that'll take care of segment number 1. We're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to come back and hear from Mr. Tom what's your name? I've only known you for so many
Speedway.
years. Tom Speedway. That's what I was. Yeah, jumped to Speedway too fast. Tom Stout from Speedway Video, sticking around. He's going to tell us his story and his experience from the World Series. Hey everyone, we want to take a few moments and thank some of our great sponsors here with the Racing with Ryan podcast, including one of our first anchor sponsors, 124 Welding and Fabrication. Of course, that is Ron D'Alessandro's company. He's been with us for the last couple of years, not only here on the show, but supporting local short track racing as well, and the Florida Southern Ground Pounders, and the 602 Modifieds that race over at New Smyrna. Ron, he's an all-around good guy, and he's very talented. Of course, he can handle all your welding and fabrication needs. But go to his Etsy store, check out Etsy.com, and search for 124 Welding and Fabrication. You can see some of the great items that he already has for sale. They make great gifts. If you got a birthday coming up or you want to plan ahead for Christmas and start getting some of that knocked out, check out what he already has to offer. Or you can get with him and have something custom made. We have our Racing with Ryan podcast studio emblem hanging up in the studio. It is a beautiful piece. Ron does great work. Also very good for trophies, for awards. I know he did the trophies for the Ground Pounders a couple of years ago, and they're some of the coolest trophies I've ever seen. So If you need anything like that done, maybe awards for a baseball team, for a quarter midget, for anything like that, make sure you check out 124 Welding and Fabrication. Obviously, if you need something welded or fabbed, Ron is your man. Keep it local. Keep it trusted. We wouldn't trust anybody else here on the Racing with Ryan podcast except Ron D'Alessandro. And again, we thank him for his support. Again, that's 124 Welding and Fabrication. Check out his Etsy store, etsy.com. Search for 124 Welding and Fab. It'll come right up, and see what he has to offer and purchase yours today. We'd also like to thank our friends at Schultz Engineered Products and Schultz Racing Fuel Cells. If you're in the market for a new racing fuel cell for your vehicle, make sure you check out Schultz Fuel Cells. They're designed and manufactured in the United States to be safer, longer lasting, and they will outperform all other fuel cells that you can get your hands on. Also, they specialize in their fuel recovery systems. You can save on your fuel expenses, significant maintenance reductions, along with a safer working environment, better for the actual environment, the outside environment, and it'll eliminate your fuel disposal fees. Those are just some of the products that Schultz Engineered Products focuses on, and you can check them out on the web at schultzproducts.com. You give them a call at 732-922-4334, or for email inquiries, you can reach out to them at info@schultzproducts.com. That's info@schultzproducts.com, SCHULTZ, Schultz Engineered Products. We welcome them as one of our anchor sponsors here on the Racing with Ryan podcast. Make sure you check out their website, schultzproducts.com, for everything that they offer. And hey, if you're racing and you want to stay safe, get one of their fuel cells installed on your race car. You will not regret it. We also thank SRQ Taxes in Sarasota, Florida. We know tax season has come and gone, but guess what? It's never too early to get a head start on next year or to start thinking about next year. And hey, if you have any issues with your taxes, or you're looking to get a hold of somebody that can help out your business, check out srqtaxes.com. Click on their services portal, and you can see everything that they offer, from accounting software selection, audits, compliance, bookkeeping, business consulting. They do estate and trusts. They do financial analysis, statements, IRS representation in case you have any issues. They even have a notary public on hand for all of those documents that you might need notarized. And of course, tax preparation and planning. So make sure you check out srqtaxes.com, located in Sarasota, Florida, or you can get with Steve Darling at the Auburndale Speedway. He'll be happy to help you out. SRQ Taxes coming on board as another one of our anchor sponsors here on the Racing with Ryan podcast. We also have a couple of supporters that we would like to thank. Of course, we have our anchor sponsors, and then we have those that just support the show. And we got to thank Ken Copley. Of course, he is our eMod sponsor, but we want to thank him for his support here as well. We'd also like to thank Doug Samian with Do All Lawn and Tree Services. He's come back on board as a supporter of the Racing with Ryan podcast. So if you need anything done in your lawn, or if you have any overgrown trees on your yard or lot, make sure you contact Doug Samian. Get a hold of him, and he will take care of you. Again, big thank you to Doug Samian, big supporter of the show here, driver of the 04 Superstock. And if you'd like to become an anchor sponsor or a supporter of the show, just reach out to us here on the Facebook page, or you can give us a call at 321-356-2934. $5 an episode gets you on board. And now we'll let you get back to the show. All right, everybody, welcome back again in the studio. Tom Stout from Speedway Video. And as we kind of, yes, we're on round two. As we talked about at the top of the show, everybody's World Series experience is different, and everybody has a lot of work to do, whether you're like an employee at the Speedway or you're working with a team, or hell, if you're a fan, there's a lot of work to do to keep your body going to make all these races. 9 nights in a row, as we know from the last several years, is tough to do. So also one of the more lucrative times of year for you. And, you've had to jump through some hoops the last couple of years with flow racing coming in, which is good for exposure for our teams. There's, some good benefits to that, but it does hurt you because now instead of you being the source of the videos, you've got to wait 30 days for the full videos. But luckily able to get those highlight reels out so people can see what's going on and stay abreast with what's going on in the World Series. And reason I bring that up to start is the same situation for Governor's Cup. And yeah. I remember talking to him like, hey, yeah, Flo is going to be here, but hey, that should make it easier for you. And you were like, no, that makes my job harder. So for you, during the World Series, I'll tell your story. You show up usually right at qualifying time. You try to get qualifying.
If I can.
If you can.
I have to tell myself, listen, because I mean, jumping ahead here, but like, I've still got to pick my daughter up from school.
Yeah.
So I've got to drop her off at home, be like, hey, hope
Real
you do your homework.
Yep.
Now I have to leave for the track. And,
That's the hardest thing for me for this World Series is now to figure out what the heck I'm going to do with my daughter. But that'll all work out. But yeah, man, you film all the races and you get paid by the Speedway because you film down to the bar. Jane has patrons that come to the Speedway to sit at the bar and drink and not miss the racing. So that is valuable in and of itself, but now you've built the empire of Speedway video. And, the last couple of years, I felt for you because that was your bread and butter, and now it's just butter. And luckily, like I said, the highlight videos, we found a little workaround, still get you something out there, which is people really appreciate. But like you said to me at Governor's Cup, it makes it difficult. What makes the day-to-day life of Speedway videos so? What makes that so difficult?
Man, where to start? And
that was a loaded segue.
Yeah, of course, I totally agree. Yeah, I could go for like an hour just on that question, but I totally agree. Of course, if you're a crew member, if you're a 2022 Michael Hind crew member in particular, like
God, I still don't think they've caught up on sleep.
It's gonna be a hell week. But yeah, it's tough because I got to turn these videos around, and I've got to film. Whenever it ends, I'm importing the footage, and now I've got multiple cameras that I'm importing from. It's like between 8 to 10 hours of full HD footage that I'm importing, and then I've got to cut it together and hopefully have something up before the next race starts so people can check out the highlights. And I'm so grateful that I am able to post those highlights now, because that wasn't originally an option when Flo took over the rights
right.
to
You were basically shut down.
Yeah. I published some stuff and then got a text message like, hey, did we not update you? You have to take those down. And like, I was sitting there watching my views blow up like they traditionally do around World Series time, because there's a lot of attention on the Speedway and people want to see the
interest.
Action. I wasn't even doing highlight reels at the time because people just wanted to watch the races, not the highlights. And oh man, I mean, talk about a way to ruin your day, ruin your week, ruin your month. And the World Series has been a challenge financially for quite a while, because for the past 5, maybe even 6 now years, the different revenue streams that I try to make happen to, or that do happen to keep me at this year after year, they have either been diminished by those who provide them, which is, like, I'm not trying to put anybody on blast, but it's also like, what other job in the world do you work where over time you earn less money?
Right.
Like, what in the world? But also, there was a demonetization thing with YouTube at one point, and thankfully got past that. And then there was the Flow Racing thing, and so it's every year, and so far this year there hasn't been, but 2 years ago it was day 2 after I had already posted stuff where the red flag was waving. So we'll see, but every year there's been some new hurdle to overcome to try to make sure that it is indeed a lucrative time of year for Speedway video.
So you mean you don't just film the races and put the videos up and everything's rosy?
And it just happens automatically.
I thought you just go home and put it up and it works and you're a millionaire.
Yeah,
so
I'm just chilling. Yeah, so and again, last year, credit to the track, it was, well, I mean, I can say Rusty. It was Rusty who made it happen. Rusty found me a sponsor. Who was excited enough about how the red eye went that Rusty made the connection and had this sponsorship thing happen. And I was like, oh man, I've wanted the videos sponsored for a while, because that would be yet another revenue stream where I can try to make this more than just part-time pay.
Yeah.
It's more than full-time work for part-time pay when I put everything together. And that sounds like I'm not appreciative because, there's the Patreon support from individuals.
The bottom line that people people don't understand. So.
Perhaps. And of course, I appreciate the patrons so much. They do not have to be doing what they're doing. And the Patreon became much stronger in 2023. And if you go back to even just 2022, you'll see like 4 or 5 names on the list. And then in 2023, it blew up. So I'm so appreciative of that. And I hope that it continues to grow, even though I have had issues with the GoPros. And I think that the car cams, they're not always in car, so I hesitate to call them in car. I think now on the channel I'm calling them ride-alongs.
Yeah,
did you notice that?
They're
ride-alongs. But since they've been a little unreliable, and I feel like that's what got people to notice the Patreon. You're a patron on the Patreon. It's not the best branding in the world, but that's what it is.
I think it's clever, but that's just me.
It's ish, and they've changed their logo so many times that they just recently changed it again, and I'm like, come on, guys! Like I need people to know what you are.
I need the people to understand this is where you pay me.
Yeah, and I hope that it continues to grow because understandably it stagnated in the off season, and people stopped flowing in. But hopefully it continues. But
January's been tough. I think Auburndale's raced once.
Yeah.
Which is kind of your home away from home.
Yeah, and I'm enthusiastic about Auburndale, but even those views have dried up. I think I've said on this podcast before that Auburndale actually would get more views than New Smyrna, and it didn't matter that the track didn't pay me to film there because it still filled my gas tank to be able to go out there and film. And I just, the people are great. They're happy to have me there. It's always a good experience filming at Auburndale. I have nothing but good things to say about it, but it has been harder to justify from like a work standpoint, like working this evening, being away from my family. I'm actually running Auburndale at a loss,
Well, it'd be different if literally like once you were done filming for the night, you were done.
Yeah.
But, like the work starts when you get home.
That is
or
the
on
harder
the car
part.
ride home because you found a way to utilize that hour
well,
drive.
Yes, and that after buying the multiple $1,000 laptop. But yeah, no. Getting back to Rusty was able to set up this sponsorship thing, and it was the sponsor whom is no longer with me, and from whom I did not receive all of the money that had been discussed. So that's why I'm not saying who it is, but I am, although backhandedly, I am very appreciative that it was that individual who made the connection with NASCAR and made sure, like, okay, even though you guys do the flow thing, let this guy post highlights. And so that's why...
It's mutually beneficial.
Yeah.
If people want to see it live, you can't beat live. You know what I mean? In the moment, in this on-demand world we live in. So Flow Racing is still going to get their $150 subscriptions for people that want to watch the World Series. But, for somebody who maybe is going to Volusia to check out some of their World Series, their Speed Weeks, they may have missed the first 3 nights of World Series at New Smyrna. How cool would it be after qualifying to get on Speedway video and watch the last 3 nights of highlights real quick and be like, okay, I'm caught up and ready to go.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's so much me in the racing world instead of, hey, let's all just work together and do the best we can with our product. And, okay, if more people are watching me, well, I'm doing a better job than you. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
It's nice that has worked out. And because I felt so bad for you a couple of years ago when you're basically lost the World Series. And I was like, shit, we're gonna lose Tom. Like I say it all the time. You're so valuable behind that camera and putting those videos up, not just for me, but for those racers. And I know it's kind of a niche thing. So the scope of the views, you've got a general audience and it's hard to get outside those lines. That's what every major sport is fighting. How do we get that casual fan to bring them in and get those views? That you fight the same thing in a smaller scope. And I'm just glad that we've found a way for you. And then, hey, after 30 days, the races go up and hopefully over time accumulate some trickle down for you. And, but yeah, man, I mean, for you to be out there you've got to be there for the whole program.
Yeah.
So if it's a long night, then, it means even longer that before you can even start working on the next part of it. And, It's so funny. I really thought for you the highlights would be super easy. Okay, cut up that, put it together and go. And when you told me during World Series or Governor's Cup that it's actually harder for you, I was a little bit surprised, to be honest with you. But I guess trying to remember all the good stuff and cut it all together is no easy task.
Yeah, and thankfully I was in a good mood at that point, and I was able to approach the and I got really good footage of what I thought was a really incredible race for Governor's Cup, definitely the best Governor's Cup that I've personally seen. And I instead of just putting together the video on a quick turnaround, and I do feel like I do a good job on the quick turnaround, but instead of looking at it like a penalty, I chose to look at it like a luxury. And sure, it led to fewer views on the video. Even at this moment, it doesn't have, it has not cleared 1,000 views, the Governor's Cup video, but it's one of the best videos on the channel because I went back and I took the extra time. And that I know
very
you
meticulous.
know.
Yes,
yeah, just like you with your music, frame by frame, every single cut, every single edit you ever see on Speedway video, I have overanalyzed to the point to make sure that it is exactly where I want that cut to happen and how I want it to sound and how I want it to look and how I want it to feel. And I did that even more so with the Governor's Cup, and I every single restart has the on-track camera with the cars speeding past, which I was doing at first when I reintroduced the on-track camera, when I chose, because I remember back in 2018 when I first started using it, Jim Jones, and he was absolutely right, he walked up to me and he goes, you just doubled your editing time.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, but it's going to be cool, right? And then it was pretty soon that I retired that, but brought it back because you or Frank or a couple of people saw some old races and said like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if you did that again because it looked so cool. And at first I was doing it for every restart. Yeah. And it was one Crown Vic race at Auburndale that had like 50 zillion restarts. And I was like, I can't do this.
Well, I think I told you, I was like, man, it's nice to have that because if you get that crash off in the distance that you don't catch because it's the back
like
of
at
the
least
field,
there's something, even if it's pixelated, at least there's documentation of what happened.
Right. Or the car spinning past the camera or hitting the wall at the camera is always cool. And I kind of told you, I'm like, just use it when you have those moments, or the start of a race, or a tight restart. Maybe the leaders pushing each other, but don't feel like you have to use it every single restart. And I feel like you kind of took that advice and
I did. Yes.
Yeah. I was actually right about something. Those other people that kind of mentioned the same thing. But
so I've got some rules about how I edit and some rhythms that I was able to throw out the window for Governor's Cup and just do the absolute best video that I possibly could do. And I love that Governor's Cup video. But yeah, man, it's I say yeah, man. I don't even know what other chapter I'm about to launch into here, but it's just it is tough, and I know it's a brutal 9 to 10 days for everyone, but it's nonstop. It's a wonder that I get any sleep. I have to order a bunch of Chinese food before the 9 days starts and just put it in the fridge, and I just eat on it throughout exactly just sitting in front of the computer, just like occasionally taking a bite of rice. And then, and bringing my kids to school, picking my kids up from school, contending with YouTube copyright strikes and whatever it may be.
Goddamn announcer played Kickstart Your Heart again. I'm screwed.
Yeah, so I don't know how the banquet video didn't get demonetized. I was like, you know what? It's cool that the video got played at the banquet, and I've got whatever bad camera failed footage of the crowd kind of sort of reacting to it, but also like since it got played at the beginning of the banquet, people were still filtering in. Most people were just having their own conversations at their own tables. It's the Golden Globes. People are there to socialize and get drunk, not to pay attention to the show like at the Oscars. It's that's the connection I make. It's the Golden Globes, so that's
a good tie-in. Yeah.
That's fine. But there were a couple of laughs. There were a couple of Doug Samian went Tom at the end of the so I was like, okay, I was originally planning on editing this out and just saying like, go watch the other video that I accept ahead of time I'm not going to make money on because it's got the copyrighted song.
Yeah.
But I put it in there and YouTube didn't flag it. I'm like, oh, okay. Sure.
Well, now when you go home, you know it's going to happen. But yeah, man. For me, World Series, like it takes me to the ragged edge. I mean, my voice, first of all, luckily, I've gotten to a point announcing now where I know how to use my voice without overdoing it. Because my first couple of years, I would get to night 3 or 4 and be like, oh my God, I've killed myself already. I get to a point now where, and I can up and register, I can go down and register. I just know how to project myself. And I've trained my voice over the last 8 years. So, but, you know, I get there, I do the pit walkthroughs. So there's, you know, I'm walking through the pit area. And then after that, yeah, I walk around. Okay, got a new car. Got to add him to my notes. Got to jot down sponsors. Oh, no, this guy's packing up. Got to try to stay up with the storylines. I got to do results because I do the website. So I got to find time to do that. I got to update my stats in my notebook because luckily I'm doing that not on paper this year. The last couple of years I've got a binder that ends up being, you know, yay thick. And I carry around and kill my arm and with the pushing the kid and the scooter and I got this binder. This year I'm doing it all digital. So I'm going to take pictures on my phone and then update notes when I get to the tower. But I got to update the website. I got to update points, all that stuff. And last year I ran into an issue with my race pass where the points weren't calculating. On the final night, I'm like, oh my God, I got championship battles that are within 6 points. I need the points. So you know, it's so funny how there's a lot of people like, oh yeah, 9 nights of racing. Yeah, badass. Let's do it. And then you actually do it. And no matter, even the guys that just stand at the gates, opening the gates, they're on their feet for 10 hours a day, opening this gate, letting people in, dealing with people yelling at.
My feet get all swollen up.
I believe it. You know, and especially for you, you're standing there. Yeah. Like you're not even moving. You're standing.
Yeah, no, I have by like night number 4, night number 5, I have a hard time fitting my feet into my shoes because they get all swollen.
You need a stool up there for cautions.
It's tough. I'm glad that I've got something of an exercise regimen now, so my back is better because I've got horrible back issues, and I've forced myself to exercise through the pain to get to a point where I don't have to wear my brace anymore. And it's just like, thank goodness, like that. Yeah. So I'm hoping that maybe that translates.
Doesn't set you back.
I guess there's that, but you know, I hopefully that translates in some kind of way to the feet not swelling up, maybe. But I think that probably, I don't need to go on this particular tangent, but I wonder if that also pertains to like my diet goes downhill during that week too, because I can only eat the Chinese food that I've shoved in the fridge and the like whatever I can grab at the gas station or whatever. But man, my main memory of last year's World Series, which was a very good World Series, perhaps a great World Series that I was not able to appreciate until reflecting upon it after the fact because it was just so hectic and crazy. My main memory of it every time I think of it is day number 8. And you watched me. You were in the tower and you saw me. I had such a hard time dragging myself up the tower. Like it to somebody who didn't know, it would have looked like I was faking being exhausted. I was having such a hard time hauling myself.
I remember.
Oh my gosh.
You got there late because you're working on the highlights and you're like, to hell with qualifying. And it took you a good 3 cars to get up the grandstand. So
that's a great way to count.
Yep.
And man, boy, I just, what was I going to say? Yeah, no, we rained out that night, and
we got the pro late race in, and then the modified race rained out.
That's right.
Everybody's still mad about it, but
of course. But you know, I was, I guess, the one person that wasn't mad because I was able to get some sleep. And sure, I still put together a highlight reel of, I guess it must have been the pro lates. And there was a presentation for Ben Dodge.
That's right.
And so it's a nice little video that is the least viewed of the World Series highlight reels,
but
understandably.
It's still documented and still up there.
Yeah, and it's the one that I drew upon for the banquet video to get that
it's
nice.
Such a special memory for Ben because I mean, I hate to say it, but you never know. I mean,
with his recent health issues,
I mean, it's not easy when you get old and start having health issues to travel, period, to go do anything.
And he's such a wonderful presence, and I know that your professional relationship and friendship with him has been
too. I mean, we keep in touch to the point where he's like, keep in touch more, and I'm like, I don't want to bug you, but okay.
Yeah, and everybody's always happy to see Ben, and he's so long-winded that there are comments that I hear on the tower, and sometimes I'll relay them to you because they're they jab at him. But Ben's wonderful, and he's got such a great voice and such a great knowledge, and that segues nicely into what I did want to say is that one of the nice things about the World Series. It's a funny thing too, but it's you mentioned Nicholas Noggle, and I know we've been lucky enough to see Noggle at other regular season races, right?
Recently, yeah,
yeah,
and Pro Late.
But with those types of people, there are some spotters, because those tend to be the people that I see more up there. That's another challenge, is how busy, and it's a challenge for them too. Everybody, you got to get a second row up here, and that would be great. But
well, like I said, there's a reason we didn't race a couple weeks ago.
It only just occurred to me as I said that just now.
You may have some challenges come Saturday. You may have to refigure some things out, Tom.
I am. I am excited, but I am also. I'm going to get back to what I was saying, but I'm excited, but I'm also worried, because I have mentioned repeatedly that the power keeps going down up there. We have 6 outlets. I'm down to one working outlet because they keep failing, and I also have to share that outlet with Flow Racing and with spotters who want to unplug me so they can charge their phones and charge their race receivers and whatever else. So it's. Yeah. That's another thing about World Series, is that I never know what I'm walking into.
There's some really good races where all you see is spotter faces.
That is true, unfortunately, and thankfully
that's not your fault. Though,
it's usually
it's part of it.
I've been doing it enough now that people recognize me enough and tend to stand. It's usually the same people year to year who stand around me enough that they know the deal, and they're nice enough to ask. You
respect them, they respect you, everybody gets along.
There were a couple years where it was very contentious, and I certainly wasn't going to start an issue, but there were definitely some people who I was just like, I would vent to you.
Get out of my
dude,
way.
I don't have a turn 1 because it's just the back of this guy's head the whole time, and like... It's especially during the Pro Late races. I don't know why, but it is.
They lean out over the tower.
I level my camera off, and it's difficult to do because I'm so particular about it, but I level my camera off so it's always nice and level the whole time. And if you go back to like my 2018 videos,
you'll see
it's
the
not
difference.
Like that.
Yes,
but I've gotten very particular about it. And that was also me trying to. I'm like 5 tangents deep now.
Right.
That was also me trying to figure out how to
do,
best film a race. And I like, if I tilt to the camera, then I can capture more of the track at this angle. But then you have a tilted video. Why would you want to look at that? So that was a learning curve for me. But for those Pro Late races, I throw it out the window. I have to lean the camera forward as much as I can and have the crooked video just so I can see the damn cars.
The old the footage of the ARCA East races that you only have to film down to the bar. You literally just back and forth because you couldn't really put it anywhere, and you had so many people up there. You're just like, whatever.
I wasn't allowed to post those, and I think there's only one that I actually rolled on, which I'm not supposed to. Like I even would tell.
And you got the qualifying session that no other footage exists of Chuck Buchanan hitting the wall. So there's
that's right. That was lucky because I was just not for him, but I was just testing out. I was just testing, like just okay, I'm good to go for tonight, right? And then that happened.
Yep.
That's right. I forgot about that. But I did decide like, this race is like a year or 2 old. Nobody's going to notice. I'm just going to post it. I won't get in trouble for this. And if I do, then whatever. What are they going to do?
Take it down.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of wish that I rolled on all the other ones so I could have footage of those too. But I do have that one finish, that 3-wide.
Oh my
finish.
God, that was so amazing.
And that was just like we had I think it was like a green-white checkered, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to film this for the highlights. Let's just so at least I have that. But let me try to unravel my tangents here.
Where do we go here?
I don't remember, but I was saying something. I'll forget whatever else I was saying on top of it. But just the seeing. It's nice to see people at the World Series that you only see at the World Series.
Yes.
And that's the short way of saying it that I could have just started with. The funny thing about that is that I'm so busy that I don't want to do the pleasantries. Like I'm polite enough that I will, but even with the nice people, I'm kind of like, I just want to show up, set up, film, and then get the heck home.
Put the videos up.
I don't have time to be like, oh, gee whiz, oh, that's cool. Oh, did you film this other event recently? Oh, that's nice. And the camera guys, and there were some camera women last year, just the camera operators.
Yeah.
I always nice dealing with them. It's always interesting seeing the different equipment that they work with. The actual individuals, it's a nice experience. The corporate flow is what I have the issue with.
Pun intended.
Yeah, my goodness. But yeah, I kind of like if it's somebody else who's just going to pull their hoodie up and play on their phone during the cautions, I'm happy with that. I don't need to be socializing. I just want to work.
Right. And unless Carrie May comes up,
Of what that is the it's funny, as I was saying that is the one exception that ran through my mind, and I was like, yeah, Carrie knows.
Yeah, man, it's incredible, like the stories that I hear from other ends of the operation at the racetrack. Like the gate workers, they're the ones that after the races are done, they're still at the track doing bonfires, and then you see them the next day, they're like, "Oh my God, too many beers, huh? Like, yeah, too much moonshine." They go down to EJ's and they party.
Oh my gosh.
I have made that is such a rookie mistake. If you ever want to know what the worst mistake you can make at the World Series, get too drunk on night one or practice night, because it will screw you up for the rest of the week.
Yeah, you don't have a chance to catch up.
No, that's the thing. Like, and nowadays I'm older. I typically don't drink to excess. Yeah, I might get a bus and then I'm good. Very rarely anymore do I have hangovers, and if I do, I'm upset at myself. Well, one of the first years of doing Speed Weeks, I was still getting to know everybody, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go hang out. And luckily, I had a place to stay right there, so I didn't have to go anywhere. So I kind of was like, I can have a couple more. I was so hungover, and I feel like the hangover lasted for about 3 days. And then, as the week goes on, things get better. But do not overdo it on night one. And it's easy because we had the welcome party this year at Sorry Charlie's.
Mm-hmm.
I've had 2 beers, and I can't say that. It's really easy to make that happen, and it can really kill your week. So, but it's also, as I was saying, very interesting to hear everybody's perspective. I mean, Rusty and Holly, man, they're running ragged. Mm-hmm. They're already running ragged and worried about parking in a couple of days.
I had to text Holly about something today, and I felt so bad. I felt like I texted her too early, so I deleted the texts, and I set a reminder to text her later, and I still felt bad bothering her.
I'm in constant communication with her, and, I've had to ask her several times about the payout. And there was a couple of things we were waiting on 602 payout with the, and thank you to Brad with the Winterfest. He put up the championship bonus for the 602s. So again, I did a whole emergency podcast about how upset I was about the tour mod situation on top of our tour mods. And that ended up working itself out to where I think in conjunction with Winterfest at Auburndale, that has such such good legs. And I feel like over the years, come run that, then come to New Smyrna.
Mm-hmm.
What a great way to co-promote.
Yeah.
And that's how it should have been. And it is now. And I feel bad for them because I come to find out they only had one open tour mod register. They got a bunch of 602s coming, but only one big tour mod. And
it's like our dirt late
model race,
asphalt, which is like people wanted to see it. It's a very
novelty.
popular video on the channel, but it's just one car qualifying.
Yeah, we got screwed on that because Volusia got a great dirt truck race and we got nothing. But that's the way it goes sometimes.
Of course, I got some inside scoop on that just based on who I was talking to over the years.
Yeah.
And I heard a lot about exactly what happened there.
It was not that individual's fault either.
No, on the contrary.
He did everything he could and got no support.
Built a custom nose.
Yeah.
And and
got no support from the drivers, and the race never happened. So
and now that nose hangs on his wall.
Good memento, I guess. But no, man, just so much goes on in the World Series, and some good. A lot of great storylines, a lot of great interactions. I know you were talking about you like to come do your thing and go because you have so much to do and family that you try to remember that you have. And look, that's, as a father myself to a 2.5-year-old, like I get that. Like it's tough being away from your family. Yeah. And there's a lot of sacrifice that goes in the World Series on all ends. So, anybody that works this, anybody that participates, anybody that races, it's a challenge, and it's appreciated by a lot of people because this event, if you remember when you first started, let's go back to 2017. It was good. It was a great experience, but the car counts were down. And, the modifieds, which were the big event, what do we have, 14, 15, something like that?
That sounds about right.
And now, people will still say, well, I'm not going to the World Series. They don't pay enough. Well, hey, so be it. But look at what we have now with this 30 plus tour mod, 602s at 30 plus, one of the biggest super late model races ever at New Smyrna coming up. And I think it's everybody. Like there's not just one reason the World Series has picked back up and become a big deal again. And people, drives me crazy. People see the entry list at the beginning of January and they're like, only 6 super late models? What the hell? It's like, it's a month away. The super lates race, the Governor's Cup, then the Big League, then the Snowball Derby, then there's this race here, this race there. They've raced like 6 times since the last time we raced. They don't know what they're doing in February yet. So they're all coming. Bubba Pollard's coming. Stephen Nassie's coming. They're all going to be there. All the names that you want to see, they may not race every single night, but they're going to be part of the World Series. And, you know, I think it's just a testament to the hard work that goes on. And a lot of people want to say, oh, they don't do enough. They don't do this. They don't do that. Everybody's working their ass off to make this the best we can. And there are limitations. We can't do everything. Everybody's like, oh, we want super modifieds. Well, it hasn't worked out yet. Well, you should run this. You should have this. We're lucky we have what we have.
Yeah, my goodness.
And some nights some nights are just right. Some nights, you could throw another division on there. And some nights, like, well, you could take it.
Could take one off.
You could take one off and still be fine. But everybody's worked their ass off to make the World Series come back alive. And it feels like a big deal again.
Yeah,
and
that's the one cough you get, by the way. No more coughs.
Yeah, I know. As I'm talking and getting worked up here, it's wanting to happen. But I'm very excited for this year. I appreciate the effort that you put into it, because you'd be like, well, I'm throwing up a highlight reel. I'm not even going to think about it. Here's this, this, and this. Oh, I didn't include this. Oh, well. The fact that if you want to know how meticulous Tom is, and if you want to know why in the banquet videos one thing plays longer than the other, it's set to the music. Like, you set cuts to the music. You will cut things at a particular moment because it flows into the next cut. Like,
and tells a story.
It tells a story, which a lot of people probably don't, understand. But those that do are probably like, damn.
Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of Carrie, she commented that she felt this was the best slideshow yet, and I agree.
I think it was. I think it was really good.
Yeah, I'm very, very. I wasn't even planning on doing one this year.
Yep.
I was gonna say, okay, I don't make money on this. I need to look out for myself a little bit more.
Work-life balance, man.
Yes. So I was trying to look out for number one a little bit more than I usually do, and it still came together in the end. And even without having had plans to do one, I feel like it's the best one. And it's tough to watch a lot of the slideshows without getting emotional, but this one, like, I get emotional when I watch it.
It did touch the heart a little bit.
Yeah, right.
There were some really cool moments in there,
and there are some laughs too.
Yes,
that's thank
it's
goodness
heartfelt
for
in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, like there have never been laughs in a slideshow before, and there are laughs in this one, so that's fun. And I love
the like first 15 seconds.
Yes.
You got Brandon Monroe flashing his manhood to everybody.
Yes,
so.
and that got a reaction at the banquet, and I was happy for that.
But that's what it's all about, man. At the end of the day, we go there, we have some fun. At night 5, 6, 7 of the World Series, we're ready to kill each other. Night 8 comes, and you see all the tour mods and prolates take off, and the place looks desolate, and you get a little bit sad. You get a little bit sad, and you're like, man, we got to get through night number 9 now. And then you get there, and you're like, this isn't going to be bad. And then, like, last year, I was really dreading the last night.
Yeah,
I'm like,
so was I.
And then we had one of the best orange blossoms ever.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the second best race of last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
After the Governor's Cup, and I was after how beat up I was by that week, I was thrilled by night 9. It was wonderful.
And then it ends, and you're like, oh my God, we made it. We did it. That was awesome. Give me a beer, please, and then I'm going to go sleep for a day.
And everybody's feel like tomorrow when the next World Series happens.
I've been to one Daytona 500 in my life, and it was 1998. I was 10 years old, saw Dale Earnhardt win it. One of the coolest moments in my life, given, what happened to him 3 years later. I've never been to another Daytona 500. I've been to the 400 in July or August several times. I've made it tradition now to go to that race. And I've been offered Daytona 500 tickets, passes, this, that, you name it. And I won't go.
Yeah.
Part of it is my one and only Daytona 500 is probably the most special moment in sports that's ever happened. And I got to witness it as a young 10-year-old child, not even really fully understanding what I just witnessed because Jeff Gordon didn't win.
Yeah. And in all contexts, you can never go back.
And I feel like I feel like I can't go back. But now I work the World Series. I don't want to go to another racetrack on night 10. I want to go watch the Daytona 500, a race that I love to watch from my couch and just sit, relax, and enjoy it.
And you'll spend your whole World Series paycheck just buying 2 beers.
There, absolutely. Yes. Instead of a new computer that I hopefully will be getting soon. But and now, like, after 9-10 days of barely seeing my kid, like, I want if Peyton is going to go to the 500, I want her to do that with her mom because her mom has connections over there with her work. And I want Peyton to go to the 400 with me. So she can have 2 different traditions there as she gets older. And tradition, man, that's what the World Series boils down to. And, you know, people will say this and say what they want about it and crap on it because, like you said earlier, that's what people like to do. That's what social media is for anymore. But
that's how we understand to interact. Like that's yeah, and that's what that's a whole other can of worms. But like social media is designed in a way to inspire those kinds of reactions.
Yeah,
and
shock jock almost.
As it's become our norm, that's what we instantly go to. Like even if it's something that we're happy about, our immediate instinct now is to figure out what there is to complain about.
Right. Well, I'll never forget a couple of years ago, first couple of years of the World Series, putting out, hey, before we had the online registrations, like, here's the entry forms. Please fill them out and send them in because we didn't have much on the entry list. I get this nasty message from this torpy-ass guy. He goes, nobody's coming, bro. Nobody's coming to that shit. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Who are you? And then we had the best World Series we had to that point. So, you know, people will look at an entry list, and I start the World Series entry list before the end of the year. And people will look at it and be like, there's no cars on there. It's December, bro. Yeah. Like, it's opened 5 days ago, bro. And even a couple weeks ago, there's only 10 late models, typical New Smyrna. And now look at it. I mean, and look, there might be a night where there's only 15, 16 late models in the field because attrition or after the ASA race and people leave.
Yeah.
Look, it is what it is. I mean, you could have 30 tour mods to start the World Series and they pig pile in turn 1. You got 14 left. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Call 50 Shades. Like, hey, man, you sick of driving that truck?
I miss that kid. He's a good dude. Joe DeGracia.
Joe DeGracia.
Yeah. Yep. Or as Ben would say, D. Garcia.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, well, of course, you know, he would say it that way because it sounds better coming out of the PA.
It does. DeGracia sounds like you're, you know, starting and stopping. D. Garcia sounds, and that's got a little appeal to it, you know. Yeah. But no, man,
it's actually pronounced D. Garcia.
Is it now? Oh boy. Well, I appreciate the legwork that you put in, and I'm glad you've worked it out to where, even though you can't put the full races up right away, at least you've got something to work on. And, you know, I know the editing's a lot at the end of the day. That's part of the reason why you got into this is because you like editing and video so much.
That is true. And I think this is like my 3rd or 4th time on the podcast, and I've already repeated myself enough. But even when I'm exhausted from editing, when I'm done, what do I find myself doing for fun? Editing videos.
Right.
You know?
You edit all the time. So that's why when they brought it up, I was like, I know a guy.
Right. You're like, hey, come on out to the track and see what you think. And I brought my DS, and I sat there and I played Super Mario World on my DS while the races were going on, and I remember getting weird looks.
Your first impression was, Patrick Thomas's car looks like a cigarette box.
That's what I said, yeah. Like, he's the Marlboro
Oh, my God,
man.
He's so lost and out of place, but hey, he's my friend. And here we are. But no, make sure you guys are subscribed to Speedway Video. I'm sure 90% of the people that listen to this are. Even if you don't do the YouTube thing, make an account, subscribe. It helps. Watch the highlight reels. Now that you understand a little bit of the effort that goes into it, it's not just as easy. Here's the thing: so many people, that checkered flag flies at the end of the night, their day is done. There's a lot of people though that have, the work just begins. And a lot of people in the office, like Holly's there all night counting money, passing out payout, closing the bar, this and that. Rusty's there running ragged. I mean, I feel bad for Rusty because there was several health scares that he had last year just from overexertion.
Yeah, he's got that life alert now.
Yeah, exactly. If you're at the banquet, you know. So just know
that sounds so grave.
Right?
It was a joke.
Yes,
but yeah.
Well,
it
came across that way at the banquet.
And
too,
he took it a little bit, but he did seem to take it in good humor.
Well, Rusty normally does. He's a humorous guy, and for anybody that thinks, oh well, New Smyrna sucks. Yeah, you're entitled to that opinion, but just know that even if it doesn't seem like it or it's not going the way that you think it should, a lot of people are working hard to make this happen, and it takes a lot to make this happen. And very thankful to be a part of it. Thankful to have you along for the ride. I can't tell you, doing my research every year, I go back and watch those videos.
Yeah.
So, a couple nights ago, we're sitting at my mom's because I was out of town this weekend at my mom's, and I had Holly like, "Hey, can you do this?" I'm like, "Yep," on Monday. I had to put my foot down a little bit. I'm out of town, out of my computer. I'll get to it Monday. But Peyton and I are sitting there. It's getting late. She goes, "Dad, I want to watch Vroom Vroom." So we watched Speedway video highlights, and we watched he's got some great World Series recaps from last year that really tell the whole story of
I really like
division.
watching those again.
They're really good.
We were having issues with the what was it even called?
The choose cone.
Oh, the choose cone.
The Speedway video choose cone.
Yes. Oh man, and I think I only caught you saying it when I was recording like once or twice.
Yes, but it was in the I think it was the Prolate.
Did I put
video?
it in? Yeah. I must have made sure that it was in there. But we were having issues with the sound thing. What was that thing that was dying?
the PA. Yeah, the amp.
The amp.
Amplifier.
So the audio is not great, but
you did well with what you had. You found a way to like muffle it to where it sounds consistent.
Yeah,
even though it wasn't clear.
Like you'll notice at first, like, oh, it sounds a little muffled, but then like 2 minutes into the video,
as the week goes on, because thankfully Jane was when we diagnosed the problem, because it came up at Red Eye. I remember going down on track and it sounded like the interviews were coming out of a tin can, and I was like, what the hell? Everything looks fine. And get to Speed Weeks, and you turn it on, it worked great. So I told you, I'm like, hey, it's working great. And then we get halfway through the night, and you'd be like, no, it's not. And then I was on track doing the interviews, and I thought it was the microphone going in and out. And you're like, hey, every time you do that, like I can still hear you. Like everything's
that's right.
Working.
Yes.
And it wasn't until because I had Austin working with me for a few nights last year. Ben was doing qualifying, and Austin went and sat out in the grandstands, and he's like, hey, man, Ben is cutting out every 2 minutes or so. And that is when I looked at the amp and saw, first of all, it was red hot to
like
the touch.
200 degrees.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I could hear it working, but I'm like, man, this freaking thing's on for all day, all day for 10 days in a row. Yeah, it's working hard. And I touched it, it was red, and I watched the lights on the amp, and it was going out. So we realized the problem. We were able to mitigate it a little bit by putting a fan on it, keeping it cooler. But thankfully, Jane was like, yeah, I need to fix that immediately. And within 2 days, we had a brand new amp and dialed that sucker in, had Kenny help me set it up, and we've been good ever since. And, occasionally microphone issues with the wireless communications, but when you have that many people moving around, it happens. But.
Sure, but and that'll probably happen again with the spotters all on their phones on race monitor, and
there's
people,
a lot of interference, and it's annoying.
Yeah,
but you power through.
But it's we did try directly wiring in, and the audio is not as good as Bluetoothing, and people want to tell me like, oh, you need to get XLR cables. And I'm like, I
tried it all. So
I've got this set up in a way that works, and it sounds better now than it did at World Series last year and Red Eye last year. So I'm happy with that, and thank goodness this is you know better than anyone that I hate the sales pitch part of things, but I appreciate your compliments and your encouragement for people to subscribe. And I mentioned the Patreon earlier, that it really did blow up in 2023, and I love it, and I'm so appreciative. And I broke it down for you when I was looking at my tax information. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, the Patreon was actually the largest part of when I portion it out with like YouTube ad revenue and paychecks from the track and whatnot. Like Patreon is the largest portion of that.
Yeah,
and I hope
and there you go. If you're wondering, like this is this is what Tom does, so support it. I mean, he's
Yeah.
over here doing his damn taxes on videos, so watch the videos and support the man if you want to keep watching.
Thank you, and I do hope that people sign up for it. And I know that what the heck is Patreon? It's just like signing up for anything else, any kind of subscription plan. So if you've seen the names at the beginning of the races and you're like, how do I get my name up there? What do I? You just go to patreon.com/Speedway Video if you're wondering how to spell that.
Or you come up to the spotters
YouTube channel.
tower and you give Tom a high five with a little paper in between.
With a little paper in between. And my daughter, who helped film during the summer last year, I'm not sure if she's going to continue that because she's got some theater stuff that she loves. She's
that's taken
at home
off
on
in a
the
big way.
stage.
So ever since that summer break, really. So.
That's true, actually. Yes, because right after that, she got cast as the lead in Willy Wonka. And she's
really cool.
Yeah, I mean, she was telling me today all the stuff that she's. I mean, I'm very involved in it, but she was telling me even more stuff that she wants to get involved with all at the same time. And I'm like, is this too much for you? And she's like, oh no, I got it. I'm good. So that's going to continue through the summer. So I'm not sure if we'll see her at the track again. But what I'm getting at is that she's already recorded it. She is now the new voice of Speedway Video.
Awesome.
So her voice is going to be the
part
one
of it
saying,
one way or another.
Yeah, she at the end of every video, she'll be
so
the one
much better
saying,
than that robotic woman who's on every goddamn video on Earth right now.
You know, I did. Ugh. It's not the TikTok one, but I did use one that sounds like her for the jegs.speedwayvideo.org.
Sign up for Patreon now.
The Patreon one, I actually paid a woman who every once in a while I hear her in like an actual
that's
commercial.
what I was getting at.
Yeah, and she's definitely got
to me, but
yeah, and you know what is it? I should have asked her to say more things than just this so I would have more options, but I only gave her the one line, and it was go to patreon.com/Speedway Video now. And Tuesday, my daughter is saying the same exact thing, but it'll be her voice now. And then she also is doing a new version of the Jegs ad since I've got the affiliate there. And that's been hard. I thought that was going to gain more traction than it has because I know that a lot of people shop at Jegs anyway. If you use my link, you go to the same website. I don't know if this part is true. I'm just being honest about that. But Jegs themselves tells me that if you use my affiliate link, jegs.speedwayvideo.org, you get deals and shipping deals that aren't on the regular website. And for no additional fee, your purchase supports the channel. I get like a little percentage of whatever you're buying. And not many people have done it, but if you're shopping on Jegs anyway, just use that link, bookmark the link, and do your shopping through there. I've bought a couple things through my own link just to like see how it works, and it's cool. I've got like some Jegs stickers and a little headband that doesn't fit properly.
Should have bought your tires through there.
Should have
tires.
Actually. Wow. I did just replace all 4 tires on my car. I should have done that, shouldn't I? Wow. Well, future reference.
Fail. See, even Tom fails at it, but start doing it. And, listen, as supporters of the podcast, supporters of Speedway Video, we do a lot of extra things. Like, if you are a subscriber to Speedway Video, you see all these extra videos that Tom puts out, especially during the off season when there's not races happening all the time. And, you got to keep the channel active to stay in the algorithm and all that stuff. But, we do a lot of extra stuff because we know that people are interested in it. And it's like the show that the last month's been, it's not rough. People are listening, but the people love the shows when there's a local race to talk about. And there hasn't been much to talk about. So it's been, our diehard listeners are listening and the diehard Speedway Video people are watching.
Oh, yeah.
And they're all waiting for that new thing. So
yep.
If you appreciate what we do, we appreciate those high fives with paper in between every now and then. So
that's, it really is. It's the reason I'm still doing it. It's the reason I'm able to still do it. So I do appreciate, and I am going to, we got to move on to the next segment, but I am going to do, it's not much, but there's a little extra bit of appreciation that I have planned. We already would have seen it this year if there had been a new race to film.
Right.
But there's a little something I'm going to add to the videos that's hopefully going to show some more appreciation to the loyal patrons.
Perfect. Well, I like I said, and look, I'm friends with Tom, so I'm always going to say he does a great job. But truly, and people say this too. People are like, man, he does so good. He's one dude. He's one camera. Well, sometimes two up on the wall. He's one cameraman. Speedway video is one thing. He does it all himself and puts a lot of effort. There's a lot of people that might just show up, record a race all zoomed out,
on their
not
phone.
even cut it, and throw it up on YouTube, and that's what you get. But, you go the extra mile, and a lot of people appreciate it. And looking forward to 24 here. We are going to take our last commercial break, hit a quick around the state segment, front loaded the show here this week. So if you join us for segment number 3, it will be quick, and then we'll get on out of here. Hey everyone, we're going to take a few moments here and thank some of our great sponsors with the Racing with Ryan podcast, and we're excited to welcome in a brand new sponsor because we know it costs a lot of money to get to the track these days, whether it be your pit passes, your tires, your fuel, the parts you had to order just to get the car fixed. We know it's expensive, so we welcome on board the sponsorshipseminar.com. Now, we just had JR Longley on the show just a couple episodes ago. We got to learn all about JR and his expertise on the sponsorship side of things, and that's where the seminar comes in handy. So visit the sponsorshipseminar.com. It's only $99, and you can watch the seminar. Heck, get your whole team together, get your friends together, have everybody pitch in, watch the seminar, and learn these new ways and strategies to help you reach out and get those local sponsorships on your car to help lessen the economic impacts of our racing hobby that we love so much. Again, that is the sponsorshipseminar.com with JR Longley. You'll learn ways and strategies on how to reach out and find those hard-to-find sponsors. And you'll also learn how you can give back to them that'll hopefully create long-lasting relationships for years and years to come. Once again, that is the Sponsorship Seminar with JR Longley. We invite you to check out the sponsorshipseminar.com to see all that they have to offer. You can click through, you can watch the little preview video, and you can order the seminar where you'll get 36 hours of replay access. So you can watch it once, you can watch it a bunch of times in 36 hours, you can watch it by yourself, and then like I said, invite everybody over to the garage to work on the car and watch the seminar at the same time. JR has over 40 years of sponsorship knowledge, and it's all available online for you at your fingertips for the first time. Once again, that is the sponsorshipseminar.com. We would also like to thank American Auto Tires and Service, located at 1523 South Dixie Freeway in New Smyrna Beach, Florida. You can give them a call at 386-428-1941. Of course, that is EJ's company. And if you need anything done, tires, service, you name it, they have you covered. So make sure you stop into American Auto. Or, of course, you can always get with EJ if you're at New Smyrna. You can find him pretty easily in the tire room or driving the pace car. They have all kinds of great deals. Look, I'm in the market for some tires. I'm going to be stopping in there in the next couple of months and getting my tires done there because I wouldn't trust anybody else because I know EJ is going to take care of us. They offer everything from free visual AC checks, tires, maintenance, repairs, any kind of service you need. They even have wheels. So American Auto Tires and Service, your one-stop shop in the New Smyrna area for anything that you need done. So make sure you check them out again. 1523 South Dixie Freeway in New Smyrna Beach, 386-428-1941. Stop in and see our friends at American Auto. We also thank DeBerry Paint and Body for coming on board as a sponsor. Of course, that is the two Manellos. So let's just say you get into a little bit of a fender bender and you don't want to go through your insurance because you know they're probably going to hike up your rates and you're going to pay for a deductible and you're still going to have to pay for all this stuff. Make sure you check out DeBerry Paint and Body because they will go ahead and handle that for you. If you got a scuffed up fender, if you got some dents in a bumper, if you got a door that needs replaced, DeBerry Paint and Body will take care of all of that. They are open until about 6 o'clock each day, and you can get in touch with them by giving them a call at 386-320-0267, and they're located at 400 Chairman Court, Suite 200 in DeBerry, Florida, 32713. And again, their hours are typically 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the weekdays and 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays because, you know, they got to get out to the racetrack and whatnot. So if you need any body work done, paint, body, whatever you need, make sure you check out DeBerry Paint and Body. We also thank Bromley Motorsports for coming on board as a sponsor here on the Racing with Ryan podcast. Of course, you can primarily find the Bromleys running at New Smyrna Speedway. They have a couple of Bomber Bs, the 6 machines out there for Bromley Motorsports, and they have some pro trucks that they run occasionally as well. Sometimes you can find them out at the dirt tracks having a little bit of fun as well. But we appreciate Bromley Motorsports for coming on board to support the show. So make sure you check them out next time you're at the New Smyrna Speedway. We also thank Jeff White Racing for coming back on board as a sponsor here on the Racing with Ryan podcast. Of course, Jeff White Racing can be found bouncing between the Auburndale Speedway and the New Smyrna Speedway. Jeffrey White, driver of the 41 E-Mod/A-Mod, has been one of the dominant forces. So if you're looking to get on board with a good racing team, make sure you check out Jeff White Racing and check them out at the Bull Ring at Auburndale and the big track over at the New Smyrna Speedway. We thank them for coming back on board and supporting the show. And again, if you'd like to come on board and become a sponsor or supporter of the show, we only charge $5 an episode, and you can do as many or as little episodes as you like. 1 episode, 100 episodes, you could do a season. It's completely up to you. You can sponsor a division. Whatever you would like to do, we are open. Just message us here on the Racing with Ryan Facebook page, or give us a call or text us at 321-356-2934, and we'll be happy to work with you. Thank you again to all of our sponsors and supporters. Now enjoy the rest of the show. All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment here on this edition of the Racing with Ryan podcast. There it is. Were you saving that the whole time?
Yes, I was.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Well, Tom is still here with us. Listen, we have Around the State left. There were some tracks that got some racing in, so let's start with the Citrus County Speedway as they look to get back to normal racing action after couple of rough months, to say the least. They've, some new management over there. If anything you want to say about not Speedway Video, Citrus County Speedway, at the end of the day, racers are going to race. If there's a racetrack to go to, they're going to go. And they had a pretty decent turnout. Sprint cars were there. I think there's about 13 or 14 of those. Good field of pure stocks. However, Mother Nature did that thing where she's not on anybody's radar, and she shows up and ruins the show. And I was up in Leesburg this week, and I think I touched on it in the last segment, helping my mom with a few things. And I kind of had it in the back of my mind, if we get done with everything and she doesn't mind hanging out with Peyton, or I'll just take Peyton with me, I might run up to Citrus for the first time in a while. Didn't happen. I was still painting a room at 10:30 at night. But as I was doing that, I could see what we saw flashes in the sky, and we're like, is that lightning? And it moved closer, and the lightning was pretty intense. So I'm like, wow, it's raining. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together until I got on the internet after I was done with my chores there, and saw that Citrus had rained out. So again, I was in Leesburg, about 30 minutes away, and we got some of the storm, and they got hit pretty hard with it. So the show got canceled before most of the big events could go off, but they got a couple things in, including the Red Plate Bandolero feature, which, funny story, on their program this week, it said, Red Plate Bandolero 1. So I commented on there, I'm like, the Bandolero race is 1 lap? Because sometimes I'm like tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, you might want to fix that, but I got to do it in a funny way because maybe people will laugh at it or something. And then I got a message from Tyler Sontag, and he's like, our graphic person is out of town. We know. Just shut up. I'm like, okay, sorry. I'm like, I might see you this weekend, like 10% chance. He's like, I'm going to the Auburndale banquet. I'm like, have fun. But the Red Plate Bandolero feature went to Joseph Weiss. Heath Highnote was second, Landon Heaton third, Mason Welter, Jace Macklin, Camden Powers, and Owen Welter, your 7 finishers. John Willis was disqualified for refusing to check the restrictor plate after the race. So I like that Citrus has labeled the reasons for the DQs. Transparency is good. They also ran the Pro Bandolero feature, which was 10 laps, 3 cars in the field. Gerald White III won the race. James Beneke was second, Sadie Parsons in third. And they also had the Dorf car feature in 25 laps, 5 cars started. James McGrody won it. Rob Kohler's second. Robbie Beveridge, cool name, in third. Mark Towerville in fourth. And Jeff Wolf running out the top 5. And I know, you look at that and go, huh, nobody races at Citrus. And I could probably go check the heat race finishes, but it sounded like, despite the turmoil over there, that the people you would expect to be there still showed up. Because at the end of the day, it's nice to get a little something to take home with you. It's nice it's just nice to be treated well. But some of these guys, they just want to race, and they're going to show up. It's just like the people that race at New Smyrna. Yeah, some people have been, quote unquote, screwed over at New Smyrna before, and they won't come back. But we got a lot of hardcore racers there that just show up and race, and they've had bad shit happen to them too. So I think Citrus will be fine. I know they get a lot of hate right now because it's easy to do, because it was easy to hate on us for a while too. So stuff happens. The only other track here, Tom, that raced, because Auburndale, go away. Auburndale had their banquet. You didn't go film the Auburndale banquet, huh? After the last banquet experience, you said the hell with it, right?
What did I do on Saturday? Oh, I watched the Royal Rumble. Yeah, no, I saw.
Stay tuned to segment 4, Royal Rumble talk.
Yes. In case anybody has not watched it on Peacock yet, I sound like I'm plugging it. Yeah, download Peacock.
Hey, I watched it. It was pretty good.
I won't say what happened, but the streak of me getting emotional at women's Royal Rumble wins continues, and there were a couple of I predicted that one correctly. I also predicted a couple of surprise appearances correctly. Literally a couple. There were 2 that I was like, oh hey, yeah, I got that right. I got the men's wrong.
Well, yeah, Mae Young coming out was pretty cool.
That, she a lot of
she even did her she replicated her 2000 appearance where she took her shirt off. So
yeah,
wild.
I mean,
keep
just
the kids at home for that one.
The fact that they were able to reanimate her is people have to look into that science.
Got to appreciate it, right?
But Mae Young, she was wonderful.
She's old now. So old, in fact, that anyway.
Anyway, they stopped counting her birthdays.
That's exactly. If you made it this far, thank you.
I don't remember. Oh yes, no. I saw that they were having their banquet, and I thought for a moment, like, should I reach out to Steve and say, hey man?
Steve would have been like, reach out to Kim Naramore, because he passed his duties on to Kim, because he's like, hey, they want to do everything, let him.
That's right.
He went and celebrated with his brother-in-law who won the championship. So
yeah, no, I was happy to watch the Royal Rumble.
Yes, but
Congrats
Showtime
to the Auburndale champions, though.
Yeah,
good season.
It was fun. I that's, like I said, home away from home, always fun. Showtime Speedway got another event in, actually leg number 2 of their modified Triple Crown. You can probably see it there, Tom. Maybe you looked at it, but how many cars do you think they had for their modified race?
And when you say modified, is that what I think of when I hear modified?
Like our Wayne Parker, Jerry Simons, Alan Brown's modifieds.
Over there in Bradenton.
Big mods, yep.
Does Freedom Factory run those?
Occasionally. They did it a couple weeks ago. Freedom Factory is like special events only. They kind of run bigger things when they feel like it.
And they're running a Triple Crown.
This is Showtime.
Yeah.
Over in St. Pete.
Right. Yes. Okay. I'm trying. I'm trying to like consider a bunch of different factors to ultimately just say like 8 cars.
Holy shit! You nailed it.
Hey.
Yep. Dude, that's just like modified racing.
Yeah.
We people have been hating on our modifieds for years. I've been critical of the modifieds for years. That's the nature of the beast. You get 8 to 10 to 12, maybe 15 on a good night, and that's it. And I mean, it was decent money. They paid $2,500 to win if you raced the first leg of the Triple Crown, and $1,500 to win if you didn't. So pretty good money.
I like that setup where it's like, hey, if you want the big payday, you gotta
support the whole thing. Which
I like that.
You know, it's not a bait and switch. If it's cleared at the beginning,
yes,
then, you know,
exactly.
If it's laid out,
if it's advertised that way, then yeah.
You know, Showtime is a little sporadic. They throw things on here and there, and they kind of roll by the beat of their own drum. So be it. But
yo ho,
yo ho, yo ho, Pirates life for them. Brad Bowman got the victory over there over Stephen Heiss. Dalton Nelson was 3rd. John Anderson 4th. Hayden Mowry in 5th. Richie Smith 6th. 7th for Donnie Parkinson. And Scott Hawley was 8th. Dalton Nelson, the fast qualifier. They ran the Ford A Oval Division, so your Crown Vics. They had 13 of them. They had 2 DQs, Dalton DeGroff and Dennis Wilson. I did hear about this from Matt over there at Showtime. Apparently there was a big brawl in the pits. Allegedly, and I'll say allegedly because I wasn't there and didn't see it, Dalton DeGroff had an altercation with the tech man, and there were punches thrown, police involved, and from what I understand, Dalton denies his involvement, and I guess he was taken away in the police car at the end of the night. So things were pretty wild over there. And what I'll say with that is, listen, the tech guys are not there to be your friend. The tech guys are there to do their job, to try to keep a level playing field. And if they find something illegal, don't attack the man. don't attack the man.
Good rule of thumb in
Yes.
general.
And even if that's not what happened, I got pretty good insight of what to happen. But again, I wasn't there. Don't touch the techman. If you get mad about it, go put your car on jack stands like everybody else and go on Facebook and cry about it. People working at racetracks are doing it for the love of doing what they do, not for the money. Even in higher up positions that might get a few more extra bucks at the end of the night, do not put your hands on anybody that works at the Speedway. Just don't do it. But anyway, who got the victory here? Austin Ramsey picked up the win over Mike Coleman Jr. Rob Lettle was third. Fourth for Rick Haley and James Grigby rounding out your top five.
If Max Reeves sounds like a movie star name, Austin Ramsey sounds like an 80s hair metal lead singer.
It sounds like if we did a reboot of Austin Powers in today's day and age. But like American style. Instead of British style.
So it's like... So instead of being a parody of James Bond, it's a parody of like Jack Reacher.
Sure.
Yeah,
We'll
I can see that. Yeah. Austin Ramsey starring Max Reeves.
Oh, okay. Like I said, I never mind.
I've had to stop myself a couple times as well. I was like, oh, this is for public consumption.
Nobody listens to this segment. Ford Figure 8A. So these must be the advanced figure eight. I hate the splitting up of like classes. It just drives me crazy. Figure eight win went to Justin Meyer. Mike Coleman was second. Mike Wedlick in third. Rob Lettle in fourth. Fifth was Randy Foote. At least didn't put his foot in his mouth. And then they ran super mini late models there, Tom, which are mod minis, if you're keeping track at home. Jason Lester got the victory over Garrett Larson. James Glover was third. Rylan Maurer. Let me try that again. Rylan Mowry in fourth. Fifth for Larry Goolsby. They had 12 cars show up. One DNS electrical issues for Fallon Goolsby sidelined him. But pretty good turnout there for mod minis, all things considered. Jason Lester set fast time in qualifying, so good night for him. And that's all she wrote at Showtime. So, again, they only had 3 divisions, and the Ford Outlaws ran a figure eight at the end of the night. So, again, you can do a lot with a little.
Yeah.
4, maybe 5 divisions on a weekly show is all you need. Now, World Series, on the weekends we get a few extra classes, but honestly, go for quality over quantity and just make a good show of it. Tom's smirking over here.
Yeah. I thought of a dumb joke and I'm laughing at what I thought of. And I'm just like, I'm trying not to make you break too.
Well, I saw the smirk and I couldn't.
Yeah, it only would have worked if I could deliver it with a straight face, and I'm not going to be able to. So it's
deliver it. We're on the third segment. Do it.
I did have Randy Foote once, but thankfully my podiatrist was able to take care of
it. All right. Damn, I'm glad you got that taken care of.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Well, if you made it this far in the show, I appreciate you listening. I'm distracted here because I just checked the entries for the World Series, and since we've been recording the show, we've had even more come in. So,
oh wow.
I'm pretty excited. Tomorrow, Wednesday's entry list update is going to be pretty nice. Actually, little PSA here before we sign off. January 31st is the last day to register for the main World Series divisions and save on your entry list. Or your entry fee, I'm sorry. After the 31st, entries go up to $300. It's $200 right now. It goes up to $300 for late entry. We incentivize you to pre-register to build hype. So After that, you can still register. You pay a little bit more. I know deals come together late. I would never not let somebody run for a championship if they have a deal come together late. If you're going to run the full thing, get with me on bonus points. We'll make it happen. Get those registrations in by the deadline. If not, if you're only planning to run a couple of races, just come out and run them, have some fun. It's looking like a great World Series. We have the Red Eye coming up here this weekend. We touched on some of the early entries earlier in the show. Keep an eye out on the website. If you go to Red Eye Central on the website, you can see the names. I update them every morning as they come in, as I drink my coffee. As a matter of fact, Tom, just to show the hard work that goes on that people don't see, I wake up early before work, go work on New Smarter stuff, drink coffee, and then I clock in and do my real work. And then I work on New Smarter stuff throughout the day. But always working, always trying to keep things as up to date as possible, even though nobody knows how to look at things and ask me the same. Kenny today, Skinny, was asking me questions. And I said, bro, do you not look at the goddamn website? He goes, no. I'm like, it's right there. And then I get a message from this person. What time's the driver's meeting? Bro, go look at the schedule that's been up for a month. And these are people, like really smart people that know where to go. Rusty asked me today, do we have a schedule for this weekend? Listen, I want to throw my stuff across the room. Yes, boss, we have a schedule for this weekend. You know what it is? It's the schedule that you told me to post after we postponed the event. It's a crumpled up napkin that has "show up and race" scribbled on it. Now, in Rusty's defense, he's not in charge of the schedules. He's not in charge of this. He's in charge of making sure that the operation of the evening goes as planned and the behind-the-scenes workings of New Smyrna Speedway are taken care of, okay? It's just like I used to get mad when Rusty would be like, I don't know who's leading the points. I'm like, why the hell don't you? And he goes, Ryan, if I have to make a call, I need to be able to make the call without knowing that I'm affecting anything. And I'm like, you know what? I respect that because you need to make the call based on the situation, not on who's it going to benefit, who's it going to hurt. So I'm like, oh, okay. I never thought about it in that light. So yes, I was kind of like, Rusty, you should know to go to the website and click the link and there's the schedule, but not everybody knows how to internet. So there you go. Taking a look here, since we've been talking and all those World Series entries came in, I'm curious on Red Eye to see if anything else has come in. Not really. Red Eye entries are trickling in, whereas World Series entries are pouring in. Again, for that, I'm gonna go to practice on Friday and give you all a better idea. I think people don't really understand that they can or they probably know they don't need to register for Red Eye. So we'll get that all figured out here come Friday. And if you're concerned with it, take a look at the pit walkthrough Friday, make your decision, come see us Saturday. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. You read off the field earlier, and I'm already optimistic. Yes, I think we'll get Speedway video, some good footage. We'll get back on track. We'll see some of the new improvements. Wink, wink, and get ready for a good 2024. Again, if there's power up there and still a coaxial cable, we're good. If not, there'll still be something on the YouTube, definitely, but. But we'll have some things to figure out for World Series. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. It was a lot of fun hanging out with Tom from Speedway Video. Usually when we hang out in this capacity, which is few and far between these days, the libations usually flow. So, if you got to segment number 3 and you're like, what the hell happened? Well, Busch Light happened. So, trying to work on them as a sponsor. But, thank you guys for tuning in. World Series preview show coming up next week. That show's always a big deal. We'll cover Red Eye. So next week, Red Eye, recap, World Series preview. That'll be the focus. And then we are into the World Series, and we'll bring you a midweek update World Series show, hopefully, if all goes well. And we'll keep on rolling. So thank you guys for keeping up with things for January. I know it hasn't been the most exciting January here on the show. That's why I try to do a couple of different creative things to keep you guys interested. Really appreciate the support. Thank you to all of our sponsors, all of our listeners. Thank you to Tom for taking a couple hours out of his night to come over and chat about race cars. And it's been a lot of fun. So thank you. Plug that Patreon one more time before we get out of here.
Patreon.com/Speedway Video. And like Ryan just said, I know some people don't know how to internet. It is really easy. I promise you, it is very easy if you've been wanting to sign up and you're like, I just don't know how. Or, if you see the bright yellow vest walking around the pits, which I won't be at the World Series because I'll be at home editing and scrambling back to the track as quickly as I can. If you want to speak with me at the pits, I know I cut a relatively intimidating silhouette, just being tall and broad, but at least that's what people tell me. But I'm polite and nice. I feel like I'm relatively meek. So
So as Tom said, he wants to come do his thing, take care of business, but you can say hi.
Oh, that's
and
right. Did just say yes.
He will not bite your head off.
This is the same podcast where I did say that. Yeah, but on regular, like at the Red Eye, like I'll be walking through the pits, and you can say hi. Yeah,
a little bit.
I'll only bite if you want me to.
We'll save that for the third show we're going to do after the Royal Rumble one. So, anyway, thank you very much, Tom. It's been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun, and see you guys at the Red Eye. And get out there. If you can't make it to Red Eye, support your local short tracks. Watch some racing on Flow. Watch Speedway Video. Just keep this sport afloat. And with that said, vroom vroom on.
Vroom vroom on.